This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available, from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Friday, welcome aboard on a beautiful Tuesday. Every day the good Lord allows you to wake up. It's a beautiful day, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you all are doing well. Hope you're enjoying yourselves this morning. Thank you for joining us, whether you're joining us live or, of course, if you're podcasting the show later on in the afternoon, evenings, whenever it is you listen. We love you for it either way. Thank you so much out there. Sean Stanley by my side, of course, producer extraordinaire. We will rock for the next couple of hours. We are absolutely loaded with guests, loaded with news. It's a lot of fun, man. Today, obviously, on the show, Ira Winderman is going to stop by for the Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report. He does it every Tuesday and every Friday here on the program. Alex Winley, our friend, is going to stop by from the Heron podcast, and we're going to talk a little Inter Miami with her at noon, as Inter Miami is on one hell of a roll. So we'll get her thoughts on that. Plus, there's some news also coming out of Inter Miami at 12:30. Manny Navarro, the great one, he will join us from, of course, his home and the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report. He's actually under COVID quarantine right now. He doesn't have COVID, but he's kind of, it's one of those, what's that called? Trace, whatever it is, one of those things. So we will check in with Manny, and we will talk about the latest stuff going on with the Canes, of course. I told you that we would have also some news. And listen, I think we give you the best coverage overall for sports, period, in South Florida. We talk about all the sports. We cover all the sports. We've got some of the best insiders on this show exclusively to us. And this allows us to really dig deep in with these insiders and get them on weekly to give you guys the insight, like on the Canes with Manny Navarro, Ira Winderman with the Miami Heat, Clay Ferraro also doing a little NBA Miami Heat with Ira tomorrow for an hour every week in the Pallet Rack City Inside the Paint show. Obviously, Omar Kelly joins us every Monday and Fridays with his reports and the Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat reports. And then, of course, Alan Poupar is doing an excellent job, has been covering the Dolphins for, I pretty much as long as I have, around 30 years or something like that, 25. Sorry, Alan, if I made you a little too old like me. But anyway, he's been around forever, obviously covering the Dolphins, Dolphin Digest, now Sports Illustrated also, and he joins us twice a week. Well, guess what, folks? We have added another insider to our family, and we've added another great sponsor. And American Dream Lending has joined us. Eves and Anthony and all the great people over at American Dream Lending. And I know these guys, and so that's why, for me, this partnership kind of is a natural thing. And listen, for those of you that are looking for mortgages, you're going to hear Eves. You're going to see him every week joining us here on the show. We're going to have some fun with him. And American Dream Lending is another sponsor that has joined us and doing a great job. And we are going to have Joe Shad from the Palm Beach Post now join us a couple of times a week. And he will join us probably on Wednesdays, I think, or Thursdays it'll be. And then on Sundays also during game day. When we're not in the regular season, we'll do it during the week. And, Saturdays or something along those lines, we'll do something like that, like what we've been doing the last couple of weeks with Alan Poupart, that we do an extra show on Saturday. So until we get to the regular season, where it'll be on Sunday, where Alan and Joe Shad will be joining us on game day for pre and post game, and we'll have Omar. So you've got now wall-to-wall Dolphins coverage here on this show with three insiders that are exclusive with us here on the program. It's a great way for the Dolphin Nation. You know that you can come to this show and constantly get the football news that you're looking for. You're going to get all the Heat news that you're looking for. I mean, nobody does a show every week like we do. Nobody has Ira Winderman on a couple times a week. Nobody has Manny Navarro on giving you the best insight on the Canes. So we're trying to put together the best sports talk show in South Florida. We're not going to be the best at screwing around and eating shit on the air and talking silliness and all that. And yeah, we'll talk some silliness here and we'll have some fun at times, but you know, it's going to be a hardcore sports talk show. And that's kind of what we do. That's kind of who I've been all my life. And it's not like I'm going to start changing now and start doing stuff that just really, to me, I don't really believe in, actually. So it doesn't really matter. So I love the way I have done my show, my style, which is, you know, passionately dedicated to South Florida sports. And that's why this show will continue to grow as a show that is dedicated hardcore to South Florida sports. We're going to travel as much as we can, whether it's the East-West Shrine, the Senior Bowl, the Combine, and even basketball. I even told Ira that, you know, next year, everything goes well, we'll be out in Vegas for the Summer League. You know what I mean? We need to get this damn pandemic straightened out. You know what I'm saying? But damn. But listen, if you do need a mortgage company, Eves and Anthony do great work. American Dream Lending, they're amazing people. You'll start hearing a lot from them next week. 786-930-4818, just in case you are thinking of buying a home or redoing your mortgage with the rates down low. Please call Eves or Anthony over there at 786-930-4818. That's 786-930-4818. They're really good people over there at American Dream Lending. And you tell them that we sent you. And trust me, they will take care of. They're good people, man. I was hanging out with them for a couple of hours yesterday. We were talking all kinds of sports. We were going through everything, man. Football, baseball, basketball. We were. It was like a bunch of dudes just sitting around and talking sports, man. It was a lot of fun yesterday hanging out with the boys. So really happy that everything is finalized and that Joe Shad is going to join our program twice a week. So you will not. There's no way you're going to get better Dolphin coverage anywhere, period, than you will on this program. So we thank all of you, as always, for keeping it locked, for staying loyal, for downloading, for spreading the word. Please smash the like button. It's incredibly important that you smash that like button, man. That is one of the most important things. Obviously, visiting our sponsors. If you need them, you know that I only have quality sponsors. Always. That's always been my thing throughout my entire career. I've always associated myself with people that I know can actually help you. So please, obviously, visit our sponsors. But smashing that like button is another way to support our show. Remember, you can reach out anytime on email at bigradioshow@yahoo.com, Twitter, Big O Show, YouTube. Obviously, we want you to share the link if you can to the YouTube channel. Besides smashing the like button, and of course, Cash App and Venmo, another way to help us out and donate. Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show for Cash App or Venmo, which we always appreciate that. See, the chat board is building up. As always, appreciate all of that. We got some stuff to talk about today. I mean, obviously, we got a lot of people to talk to today, but also we got a lot of things to talk about going on in the world of sports. Yesterday, the Saints and the Jags played. And how do you not start Jameis Winston, right? I mean, the Taysom Hill kid. Listen, I don't believe in either guy. If you're a Saints fan, that's the one thing when I'm watching that game last night, I'm going, man, if you're a Saints fan, I mean, you've had Drew Brees all this time, and now you've got to try to depend on one of these two guys. You know, what was it, Beathard, right? The other kid threw 2 touchdowns. Maybe they should throw him in there, right? For the Jags, since they were talking about the quarterback competition, right? and I knew what Urban was trying to do. Okay, because I'm watching that game yesterday, and my emotions are going in multiple directions. One, I'm thinking, wow, if you're a Saints fan, you got to almost feel your season's already over if Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill are your quarterbacks. And then on the Jaguar side, I don't know how some of you feel out there, but and I have nothing against the Jags. I like the Jags and the Bucks because they're home state teams. Obviously, nothing over my Dolphins. My Dolphins are always going to be number one when it's all said and done. But I don't have anything against Tampa Bay or Jacksonville. Like, I don't dislike them. I root for them unless they're playing the Dolphins, and I want the Dolphins to absolutely kick their ass. But I got to say something, man. There's a part of me that just kind of rubs me the wrong way when we talk about Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer for me is a dude that I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. And what he stands for is absolute garbage. This is a guy that had 30-something arrests while he was at Florida. The disgusting acts that he committed at Ohio State, protecting a guy that was beating, his wife or fiance, whatever it was at that time. And just and then he tries to bring another dude that has another shady past to Jacksonville, and he had to let him go. And just these are things that for me, it's hard for me to root for Urban. Like I feel bad for the Jags and their fans because I know that they've gone through a lot, but there is a part of me that's going to enjoy watching him fail. I got to admit, I have to admit, I can't root for Urban. I just don't think he's a good person at all. The Ohio State stuff for me just was like the nail in the coffin. I find it actually, what's it called? Puke-inducing that somebody even would hire the guy, knowing that he stands for absolutely nothing. And then watch people just absolutely kiss his ass and praise him for his football stuff and his accomplishments, but then they kind of leave out the kind of person he is. And that'll be a theme today for something else that I want to talk about. I'm pretty consistent with all of this. So it was a game last night that I'm watching, and there's all kinds of emotions that I'm going through. It's like I look at Urban, and he just makes me sick, and it's just like it's like phoniness at its finest is when I see. It's like watching A-Rod, right? Alex Rodriguez for me. It's like there's no bigger phony than Alex Rodriguez. And when I look at Urban Meyer, I look at an absolute fraud. And I'm talking about fraud as the human being. I don't care about his coaching acumen. I don't give a shit about that. That does nothing for me. You know what I mean? But that's I got to admit that while I'm watching that game, nothing against Trevor Lawrence, nothing against the Jags, nothing against the Jags fans, all that stuff. Normally, I want the Jags and the Bucks to do well, actually. I don't want them to do well against the Dolphins ever, but I don't really root against them. But I got to tell you, Jacksonville fans and Jaguar fans all over the world, if any of you happen to be watching or you download the show, I apologize. But I have a hard time rooting for your head coach. I just do. Not a fan of the guy. Not even a fan of hiring a person like that. I got to admit. So that's kind of what went through my mind. And and listen, I know what Urban was trying to do with trying to BS everybody about the quarterback competition. He wants to keep Gardner Minshew in the mix, which Gardner already knew that he was number 2. He did it on a radio show. If anybody remembers when Gardner Minshew was talking about the being number 2 and being that he's not a fan of number 2 and all that kind of stuff. I remember when he was talking about that. And so he knows where he stands, but I get it. Trying to talk him up, trying to keep him focused, keep him in the competition. Maybe he thinks he has a chance or something like that, playing with his mind, and then maybe trying to trade him too. You never know, because then they want to keep Beathard as the backup guy when it's all said and done. But, watching that yesterday, I have to admit that thing was tugging at my emotions like all over the place, and listen, I'm not here to feel sorry for the Saints fans. They've had lots of success. They've had they had a Hall of Fame quarterback for, a ton of years. They got a Super Bowl championship. They're going to go through some hard times right now because they still don't have a quarterback. And it's hard for me to believe that Jameis Winston is all of a sudden going to turn the corner and stop playing, dumb football. It's just, we'll see. We'll see. It's crazy. But anyway, just watching that game last night, I don't know how many of you feel the same way about Urban Meyer, but I was just definitely one that could not stomach it. I got to be honest. Steve Chapman, by the way, was first in the house on the chat board checking in. Isais is in. Jamie Zorria is in San Jose, California. NorCal is in. And he says, Jamie, we got a huge Finn fan party September 12th at La Cabana, 325 Main Street. So there you go. Go meet him. Finn party, baby. Gus 1388. Chris Ike is in. Ian from Brooklyn. Michael Rodriguez says, I haven't been this excited for a season in a long time since Ricky Williams. And you know what, Michael? The difference between being excited for Ricky Williams is, in a way, you knew you weren't a Super Bowl champion type team, but you were excited because the player was going to elevate your team, was going to bring entertainment, and sure enough, that's what it was. You're excited when Jimmy Johnson takes over because of the buzz, right? You don't know where it's going at that moment when he took over, but I remember when he took over, it went crazy. Camp was loaded, all that stuff. When Ricky signed, there were people, the stands were full, and there were people all around the fence outside of practice. They had to take down the green shade that covers the fence. So the fans that, the excess amount of fans that came to see Ricky Williams, I'm sure some of the people watching, some of the people that are downloading the podcast, one or two of you were one of the guys or women standing outside on the fence that you didn't even get to the stands to watch Ricky Williams. It was impressive, I got to admit. And that's a buzz. We've had the buzz for stuff like that. But I think this is actually more substance. And that's the difference now, that when I get this feeling, I get a feeling that there's a front office. I get a feeling there's a coaching staff. And I'm seeing progress before my eyes, right? 5-10 wins. If you get into the playoffs this year, I mean, really, I don't know how anybody will ever complain again about what these guys are doing, right? As once you get into the playoffs this year, that's 3 levels of progress, 3 straight years. That's unheard of for Dolphin fans. We're used to this. Usually it's this, and then occasionally a decent year, and then back down again, because you make the playoffs in 16, you make the playoffs in 08. It's like you make it back in, what was it, 01, 02 or something like that, whatever, that Ravens game, right? I mean, it's not like it takes you several years before you come back and make the playoffs. So usually it's all down, and then once in a while, really, to be honest with you, it's like a long pattern of a head and shoulders on a graph when you're keeping up with crypto or stocks, that kind of stuff. That's kind of what it looks like, but this is substance. This is substance. This is a real deal, I think. You got a general manager that I think already found the quarterback and a coach. That in itself is crazy. And then you got a coach and a staff that their team improves every year. From the first time they step on the field to the end of the season, they are a better team by the end of the season. So I'm super excited about this, because if that's the track record, that players will improve, that teams will improve, that you'll win more games. Michael, I couldn't agree with you more on that. That's why you should be incredibly excited about what's going on. And I think the exclamation point is if you get to the playoffs this year, because the progress, and then that, imagine you make the playoffs this year. Can you imagine how you're going to feel next year? Right? I mean, it's crazy. And to think about it, would you have felt 2.5 years ago when they started this thing and they tore it all down? It's hard to imagine that you would be thinking even playoffs in the third year. And look where we're at. We're actually thinking like they got a shot at the playoffs, which I truly believe they've got a shot at the playoffs. I even, believe it or not, as crazy as it seems, they got a shot at the division. I know Buffalo is the team to beat. I understand all of that. Played a pretty tight game with them last year. So Buffalo is the better team. I understand all of that. But Miami's got a hell of a coaching staff. And if this team gets better and better as the season goes on, why wouldn't they have an opportunity? And if Buffalo slips up just a little bit and opens up the door for Miami, I think they can take advantage of it. I'm not worried about the Patriots or the Jets. The Bills are the team to take down. They're the best team in the division right now. They're the top dog. They're the king of the hill. Miami's got to figure out a way to knock them down. Now, should Miami win the division? No. The Bills are supposed to win the division. But I'm not going to tell you that Miami has no shot at winning the division. I would never say that. Not when you've got a good coaching staff, not when you've got a front office that can find players, not when it looks like now you've got a quarterback. And if Tua is what I think he is, they're going to be involved in every game. They're going to have a chance to win games. And that's the other thing that will increase the confidence level, because we haven't seen enough of it yet. But when Tua and company go out there and they win some games and they come back in second halves and in fourth quarters, the confidence level of this fan base is going to grow exponentially. And I think those of you that live in the past and you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop, or you're in denial still or whatever, I think those people will start to fade and they'll finally move over to the other side and believe in what's going on with the Miami Dolphins. So there's a lot to be excited about, Michael. I'm with you all the way. Mitchell Young is in. Greg Sporting Wood says, the more I watch, the more I say to myself, they got to pay and keep Gesicki. They will, man. I think they're going to keep Gesicki when it's all said and done. I'm with you there. John Rouse is in the house. Daniel Guzman says, great as always, Big O. Headed to Alaska for some fishing and fun. Be safe, my brother. And please do me a favor. Carry your phone around and film an iceberg the size of Germany floating into the ocean. Those things have to be impressive when you see those icebergs peel off. Now, it's depressing. Not only is it impressive, it's also depressing. But that's why our water levels are going to go up, and problems are happening because our polar ice caps are melting, and we've got icebergs that are peeling off the size of Georgia and Germany and going into the ocean and melting. It's like a big cocktail glass that these giant ass cubes are coming out of the freezer and going into the water. So if you can, my brother, take a picture of one of those or a video and film. Make sure you're like a distance away from that kind of stuff. Eddie Lepp is in. So is Troy Ortiz, Jose Celdron. Keep up the good work with all these guests. Thank you, Jose. Appreciate you. R-Rod is in. Nader. He says, you're already the best talk show in South Florida. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. We're trying, my brother. We are trying. Francisco says, morning, O. Was wondering, I know you've made your home here on YouTube, but have you considered streaming the show on Twitch? It's on Twitch right now, dude. It's on Twitch. So yesterday I had a dude say, hey, why don't you get on Spotify? And it's like, well, I'm on Spotify. Did you search? And then here's Francisco. Hey, have you ever thought about putting it on Twitch? Did you go to Twitch and search? Big O Radio Show? It's there, dude. We broadcast on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube every day. I just don't acknowledge Twitch much or Facebook. Neither one, actually. And we only have maybe a couple subscribers on Twitch. That's my fault, but I mean, how many more things am I going to do? You know what I'm saying? So we are on Twitch. We are. Okay? So it's, folks, you got to take the time to search. Do a little homework. I love when people ask me, hey, where's the show at? I'm like, well, Twitter, bro, Big O Show. Everything is there. Links to anything, guests that are coming up. You can find out that Ira's coming up at 10:30. You can find out that Alex is coming up at noon, Manny at 12:30. Tomorrow, Alan Poupar will be on with us. All those kind of things you can find out on Twitter. There we go. Data Jack _2 on Twitch just started following us. I never read those things, but they come up. You know what I'm saying? And there's one right now as we were talking. Somebody on Twitch started following us. So there you go. That's probably Francisco, and that's his name. Ethereum Elemental in, Flipper 13, C. Dola, Kendrick Luckett. He says, do your thing, Big O. Rasa says, Big O, did you read Ben Volen's article? Dude is so salty. I did not read Ben Volen's article. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I don't know what it is. I like Ben. He's a good dude. I probably disagree on everything, what's it called? Quarterback related with Ben. Okay? That's the only thing I would tell Ben, and I'll tell him straight to his face. Quarterback, he and I will not agree on a lot of subjects. I think he had Brady toasted 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And then last year he was like, well, Tua isn't trusted. And I was like, I tweeted back to him, they started him against the Rams and the Chiefs. How do you not trust somebody when you start him against those two teams, those two defenses? They don't trust him. Yo, man, what you smoking? Let's see, who else? Yvonne 94 is in, and there's a lot of people on the chat board already. I appreciate you. Thomas Jensen says, oh, my God, watching Trevor Lawrence last night, staring down his receivers, taking way too long to get rid of the ball. Not good. Thomas, it's preseason. Let's not overreact. Good or bad, it's nice to see them have some success. If they struggle, we can't get too crazy about the success, and we can't get too crazy about the failures in preseason. It's not an easy thing, man, that they're trying to do. Just like what Ira Winderman does every single day for the last 30-plus years, baby, covering the Miami Heat. And when we come back, we are going to talk with Ira Winderman and the Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report. We'll have a little fun with Ira when we come back right here on the Big O Radio Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
This is the Big O Show.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All righty, welcome aboard. It is time for the Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with the one and only Ira Winderman. There we go. He's got his glasses off now. You're ready to rock. Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
Good. Got the reading glasses off, so I can still try to skew as young as I can at this point, Big O.
I got you, my brother, every single day. I live with the same monster, my friend. I live with the same monster. All right, let's get into a little basketball talk.
Sure.
When we look at this Heat team, Usaven, is his future in the G League or is his future as a rotational player? Or is it all still up for grabs because of the preseason? I don't know.
It's Omar Yurtsev's situation is interesting from this standpoint. A lot of people have asked me, well, are they going to send him to the G League, to Sioux Falls for seasoning? The problem always, there's not a lot of true centers in the G League. So you could be the 7-foot guy there who dunks on everyone. We saw that in the Summer League game against Golden State, against shorter players. And it means nothing. It doesn't translate. So other people might go, but wait a minute. He's not going to get playing time. You have Bam Adebayo, Dwayne Dedmon, PJ Tucker, Markieff Morris. I get all that. But like I've said before, I still would rather see him banging in practice and in shoot-arounds with the Heat players and learning from them than going against some neophytes in the G League. Look, if this guy wasn't a 4-year college player, didn't play at North Carolina State, didn't play at Georgetown, didn't play with the Turkish national team, didn't play Summer League with the Heat, then I totally agree with the thought the kid needs seasoning, needs playing time. The one thing we know, you know it, I know it, the Heat practice a lot, and they practice hard, and they practice for real. So it's not like he's going to be on one of these teams where they're canceling practice every other day, and he's not going to get his reps. He'll get his reps down here, and he'll get his reps in front of Alonzo Mourning, and he'll get his reps sometimes in front of Chris Bosh, and he'll get his reps in front of Udonis Haslem, who will stay as long as it takes after practice and in pregame warmups for the kid to get his chance. So you know what? I want to see him because probably, if we were doing these two-man breakdowns of groups of players together, I am so curious about Bam Adebayo and Omar Yurtseven playing together, getting the stretch 5 out there with Yurtseven. He was hitting the threes during Summer League and maybe getting a little bit different look. And again, as much as we live in the moment with the Heat, we both respect that they live in the moment. There is a future. No offense to him, Dwayne Dedmon's not the future. No offense to him, PJ Tucker is not the future. He's on a 1-year deal. He's 35 years old, maybe looking for another payday somewhere else.
And he's a specialist anyways.
Right. So he's, sort of one-trick pony there. So I think what they're going to try to do is develop him during practices, away from the game a little, and maybe find some spot minutes also for him during the season. Maybe Dedmon's injured. Maybe Bam misses a game or two. Really more intriguing, I think, than really, I'm not sure I recall a Summer League prospect, with all due respect to what Duncan Robinson and Kendrick Nunn did in their first Summer League, that this kid just has something unique he can add to the mix potentially right away.
Yeah, and we've had this subject and we've talked about how Spo never plays two big men together because he needs two guys that can actually shoot to play off of each other. He'd be more comfortable. This is actually our one hope, that if Yurtseven actually grows up enough and they trust him, they'll easily put him out there with Bam because he can actually shoot and stretch.
And the thing is also, he's been with the Heat since the final week of the regular season. So this is not a player who's new to Eric Spoelstra. This is not Eric Spoelstra returning to the gym in September and saying, who is this kid? Fill me in on him. He's seen him. He was with the Heat during the playoff series against Milwaukee. He was at the Heat's gym in July. They've gotten this nice running start. You remember this, when they signed Kendrick Nunn the final game of the season. It was the day that Dwayne Wade was playing his retirement game in Brooklyn. They give themselves the running start. A lot of times after the Dolphin season, you'll see this in January, they'll start signing guys for the following season. You want to get as long a runway as you can with players, especially unique players. So again, it's really interesting, we lament so many times over the years that the Heat don't have a draft choice, that they don't have their first round pick. My God, what are they going to do? I'm not so sure if you were to talk to the teams who drafted in the 20s this year and say you could either keep the pick that you took in 20, 25, 29, or you could have Omar Yurtseven. I'm not so sure that half those teams wouldn't go, we'll go to door number 2 instead, and we'll take him instead. So it's just remarkable how the Heat find these players. The opposite side of that is, because they find so many of them sometimes they get poached by other teams, like we're seeing right now with DeJon Jarreau probably going to Indiana on a 2-way deal.
All right. And is it, when you look at your saving, his demands, like, I mean, is this can the coach count on him now at this point? Is there that kind of respect for him when you look at his play right now? Because obviously if they're willing to put him on their roster, they must feel really good about him. And there must be, like you just said, other people trying to pick. How popular is this guy around the league?
Well, I think he really opened eyes in the Sacramento Summer League, some of the other stuff he did in Vegas. You always look in Summer League to what translates. So a guy can go off and get a big number of points. You have to look at who he's playing against, how he's doing it. And there was enough variety in the menu there from Omar Yurtseven that you could say, okay, this is NBA ready. This isn't NBA ready, but we can work on that also. And don't kid yourself. You know, it's just like the rookie cornerback out there on an island. He will get picked on. There will be players, there will be the Joel Embiids will go at him like fresh meat. But you have to learn that also. At a certain point, you have to get beaten up like Chris Bosh was by Kevin Garnett. You learn about that, you toughen up, and you come back for a little bit more. Really interesting. I'm really curious. Usually I would tell you, hey, this guy's a second-round pick. This guy's a summer league guy. Let's sort of push him down the pecking order. I think this is a little bit different what they did, and we saw enough in summer league that it's really intriguing to the point I almost wonder if they knew what they had in this, whether they would have kept that roster spot for Dwayne Dedmon. So it's going to be a little bit interesting also.
How much will they have to pace this team because of the age? Because I'm wondering, LA and Miami, the two oldest teams, or at least that's what it seems. I know LA is the oldest. I think Miami is second, correct? Or
they should. When they do at the end of camp and they have the final rosters, they'll probably be in the top 5 oldest teams. It skews a little the other way because of some of the younger players on the roster, but they are right up there with the Lakers, especially when you're talking about rotation players. There's 2 factors here in play in that. I haven't spoken to you since the last time when the Heat came out with their schedule last week. It's interesting. 13 of the first 20 are on the road, but 13 of the final 18 are at home. So if they can survive the early part of the season, they'll know whether they can pace themselves. They'll know whether they built enough of a gap. But the one thing that hasn't changed, and this changes everything about the NBA regular season, and that's the play-in tournament. Because, I remember that final week of the season against Boston when they had to win both of those games to avoid the play-in, 2 of their better games of the season. They did. You can only pace so much. It used to be, you get a top 8 seed. Don't worry, maybe Brooklyn has injuries. Maybe Philly's overrated. You'll be okay. When you're playing for a top 6 seed, you're probably going to have to win 47, 48 games like the Heat's projected win total. So I don't think there is any coasting. You better have reliable depth. And that's where we're going to see the questions with this Heat team this year. If you're opening, say, with a lineup, Bam Adebayo, PJ Tucker, Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson, and Kyle Lowry, do you have enough off the bench there in Tyler Hero, in Dwayne Dedmon, in Max Strus, in Markieff Morris? That's where it gets a little bit questionable with this limited roster, because you're not playing UD, because KZ Okpala is unplayable, because Victor Oladipo is out injured. the depth will be a factor. And the one thing that unfortunately hasn't changed is COVID is still around. And you could have players going on the COVID list. You're seeing it with the Dolphins now. You're seeing it around the NFL. We all thought that part had passed. It didn't. The NFL, I think it's what is it? Oh, this year, like a 16-player practice squad. They're loading up. They're giving them so many more options. That's not the case in the NBA. So at a time when you might need more players, the Heat is starting with 14 and might get caught in that trap again. So I think the COVID impact cannot be minimized yet, which is very unfortunate also.
I'm glad you asked me. You mentioned that because that leads me to a question that I wanted to ask you. Because of the way I asked you of pacing, what I wanted to follow up with is because you've mentioned what they're doing on the back end of that roster, that they're kind of limiting what they could have. So in the G League, are they going to try to have a player or two that can easily transfer over just in case for injury purposes that might be able to help them out in a pinch for a week or two? Or is that something that's impossible to actually do in this league with the G League and the NBA team?
Well, that's interesting. If a player's not under contract to you and you send him over for seasoning, you have to sign him. He can't afford to do that. They don't have a roster spot, but they have two-way contracts. And so this week, we're starting to see a little bit of maybe the thought process. DeJon Jarreau, the guard from Houston, had a terrific summer league with the Heat. But they didn't jump right away to sign him. And apparently Indiana now poached him, and he's going to be with the Pacers. That's one name down. Marcus Garrett, another undrafted player out of Kansas, terrific defender, I believe will sign with the Heat by the end of this week, whether it's an Exhibit 10 contract, tryout, or a two-way. Here's the thing. Your two-way contracts can play up to 50 games. Last season during COVID, that mattered. Max Strus played a lot. Gabe Vincent played a lot. If you can play 50 of the 82 games, I'm almost wondering, are the Heat looking at their two-way contracts as we want guys more polished? Development is fine during typical times. These aren't typical times. Just like the Dolphins with their extended practice squad have to have guys at a moment's notice who can come in and step in. I'm not so sure that the Heat aren't looking at their two-way guys and saying, you know what? Usually we don't go in this direction. We don't get more of an NBA type of player. But this might be the year where that's a little bit different, where they go for more of a veteran type two-way guy, because Spoelstra might realize he's starting with 14. Udonis doesn't play. Akpala can't play. Oladipo won't play for the first half of the season. When you're already down to 11 and you get a three-man COVID cluster or something, you're going to need your two ways. I'm very curious to see how the Heat handle their two-way contracts.
Ira, why isn't KZ just all year in the G League? I mean, if he's useless and you can't play him, no, I'm serious. I mean, what's the rule and why you can't move him to the G League? So at least
you can.
You can. So then let him play every night there in the G League and get better. At least, hopefully, he gets better that way.
But to what end? And here's the problem: the Heat 3 years ago gave up 3 second-round picks for KZ Okpala. They paid him guaranteed for 3 years. That's unusual for a second-round pick. First year, he was injured. He missed time, some G League, no contribution. Second year, COVID, not a full G League schedule. He wasn't able to contribute, nor was he in the bubble when he had an ailment again. So all of a sudden, if you're saying, let's take this entire year to develop KZ Okpala, for what? If he's not going to be around after the third year, if you're not going to double down on your bet, you know what it's like, when someone says double or nothing to you, you have to decide at some point you got to hold. You got to say, okay, enough. I'm going to fold and fold your cards. So I think the thing is, they might as well just see what NBA possibilities he might or might not have now, because if they do develop him in the G League and he does become somewhat of a prospect and he does go to Summer League next summer and impress, he is as much a part of any other team as he is of the Heat. They gave him a 3-year runway, and he still has yet to take off from that runway in the first 2 years. So now you might as well just hold him around. You got some injuries. We'll take a flyer. Spo, he doesn't take a guy from the rotation, move him up one spot. He likes to leave things in order. So maybe when there's a game when PJ Tucker can't play, all of a sudden you're starting KZ Okpala instead of Markieff Morris just to keep the rotation in order. But that's a tough spot for the Heat. And honestly, after 2 years of investment, the return has been a lot less than any of the cryptocurrency you're holding right now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, cryptocurrency is doing well right now, buddy.
Exactly.
I wish KZ Okpala was Cardano right now, exploding. That would have been really, really good. All right, the point guard position. I know it's something that we've been concerned about. I'm talking about the backup point guard position. Who is Miami going to rely on to create plays when Lowry needs to rest? And God forbid if he suffers a bumper bruise along the way, which is normal in an 82-game schedule when you've got to miss some time. Is it going to be a committee type thing to create for each other, or will they settle on somebody they can count on?
Well, I like how you phrased that when you said, who are they going to rely on? Because you took me off the spot. Because then they're going to rely on the playmaking of Jimmy Butler, like they did the past 2 seasons, the playmaking of Bam Adebayo, like they have these past 2 seasons also, and then just they'll slot a player in as the quote-unquote point guard, and probably will be Gabe Vincent in the short term. But they have to figure that out. And the whole point of Kyle Lowry was to take that off the plate for Jimmy Butler, that he doesn't have to advance the ball against pressure, to take it off the plate for Bam Adebayo. So you know what? He can look at the rim as much as he's looking for the next pass in the offense. So that's the problem, is they don't have that point guard. Look, I have been effusive about this. Even when it came to the UD signing, I've said, bring in a Jeff Teague, bring in a guy who knows how to do it, put him in the deep freeze, get that understanding with him. You might not play at all, and hopefully, we hope we don't have to play you at all, but at least you could be on call. Now I think they're in a tough spot. Maybe this is Gabe Vincent's time. Maybe it comes around. Maybe they're developing the future. But if they're not doing and developing that future, then all of a sudden you're saying to yourself, Kyle Lowry, a hamstring, 5, 6, 7 games. Where are you? Oh, I think that is going to be one of the issues going into camp.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with the age, you got to figure something's going to happen. It's not that I want it to happen. It's just with the age and the wear and tear, the poor man's he's gonna need a break or two. Plus, in a way, if you're the team, you kind of want to give them a little bit of a break during the season because they're older players and they're going to need see, that's the thing. When I start thinking about, you've mentioned it so many times and you nailed it, because they're so limited on the back end, I just worry about how tired they're going to be by the end of the season because they don't have enough people on the bench to give some of these guys quality rest and stretches where maybe others could carry a little bit of the weight.
And I think that's why their preseason is going to count. A lot of teams are down to 4 preseason games. You know the Heat, they can never get enough. They're playing 6 exhibitions, 3 home and 3 on the road. I think Gabe Vincent's minutes will be Jacoby Brissett-like during the preseason. I think they will throw everything at him and see what they have. And then you could say, hey, you know what? At the end of 6 games, some good competition, including 2 against the Hawks, they'll have a better read of whether he can or can't. Hey, maybe this turns up perfectly. We've seen it with some of the Dolphins players. We had questions on and 2 exhibitions in. All of a sudden, you're feeling good about some of their prospects. So I think the preseason is going to be really important for Gabe Vincent. Maybe that he played with the Nigerian national team in the Olympics. Get your rest, but be ready, because your season is going to start 2 weeks before the regular season for the other guys. Show it to us. We've carried you now for 2 seasons. You know the Heat system. You know what we want to do. You've shown the defense. Now play make. Now show it to us. And you know what? The Heat does find these players. They do develop them. Logically, Max Strus will mean more because he has a definitive NBA skill in his shooting, and they need it. But Gabe Vincent has an opportunity like he's never had in front of him before.
Strus, to me, looks like the kind of guy that they're going to be able to count on as a shooter, is what I'm saying. Off the bench.
I think when Duncan Robinson is out of the game, I think Max Strus is in. That's today's NBA. You always have to have a 3-point shooter. There have been years that Eric Spoelstra said, nope, not if you're one-dimensional, James Jones. Sorry, we'll use you maybe when we have to. Nope, Jason Capono, this is not going to work long-term. You can't defend. I think because the Heat have groomed these players, because Duncan Robinson has been around so long and he has grown as a defensive player, and now Max Strus took the time to play Summer League after playing 2 years on a 2-way contract. He knows the system a little more. A lot of people, when they're doing their Heat rotations, do not have Max Strus a top 8 player. I think he will be, because I think they want to keep that shooting on the floor at all times. They don't want to be 29th in the NBA in 3-point shooting again.
Ira, what are you working on in the South Florida Sun Sentinel so Heat fans can check you out, my brother?
Well, first of all, I'm trying to lock down these two-way contracts. I'm trying to figure out if the Heat's going to wait till camp, or what's going to happen definitively with DeJon Jarreau. He's not yet on the Indiana Pacers roster, so sort of looking into that a little bit also. There also was a story the other day. C.J. McCollum came out and said he thought the Heat did dirty to Kendrick Nunn by withdrawing his qualifying offer after all the money dried up in free agency. So little bit of controversy there I'm looking into also. As usual, there's always some NBA stuff. And tomorrow for an hour, we'll load you up. Myself, Clay Ferraro, we're on the Pallet Rack City Inside the Paint show. So looking forward to that. And then coming back with you, of course, here on Friday for another round of the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report.
I got to follow up on that because you've kind of felt that they didn't give Kendrick Nunn enough of an opportunity. And I think sometimes he has had enough of an opportunity. He kind of proved to us that he's incredibly inconsistent. Why would I fault the Heat in protecting themselves? I understand the player would be pissed because another player may have gotten screwed with all of this, but that's part of the game. Kendrick Nunn could have gone out and kicked ass and made himself so valuable that they didn't want to let him go. But this is what happens.
And even more, part of the game is these are the collective bargaining rules set in place. C.J. McCollum is taking over now for Chris Paul for head of the National Basketball Players Association. He knows the rules. What a lot of people didn't realize is this. If the Heat left the qualifying offer for Kendrick Nunn and he took it, he would have had a no-trade implicit clause on a one-year deal with bird rights, which meant if the Heat wanted to aggregate salaries or something at any point during the season, Kendrick could have said, nope, I'm going to void that trade. So they had to play by the rules also. There's all these intricacies I mostly try to stay away from with the CBA, but that was one of them at play there, is that Kendrick Nunn, if he would have signed the Heat one-year qualifying offer, he would have had no trade rights this season also. The Heat have such a limited number of players they can move as it is, that I think that flexibility mattered as well.
Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. More importantly, catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. And make sure you subscribe and support our local journalists who do an excellent job of covering our news and sports and everything local going on. Ira, you are awesome, my friend. We will see you tomorrow for Inside the Paint for an hour from 10 to 11 with Clay Ferraro, my friend.
Not on Twitch, but you can find me anywhere else. Thank you, Big O.
There you go. Ira Winderman.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All righty. Welcome back. We thank Ira Winderman from the South Florida Sun Sentinel with our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report. And, of course, folks, if you are looking for a vehicle, go see Larry Schlossberg and the great people over there at Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines, 15601 Pines Boulevard. You heard it there. Great people. Tell them Big O sent you. And trust me, they will definitely take care of you. I like it. Adrian Gonzalez says, Orlando just dropped in. You definitely are going to host. You are the go-to host for South Florida sports. I am happy you're back to this forum. I'm actually very happy myself. I kind of went through a little bit of a depressive state, not depression, because I don't want to make light of depression, which is incredibly serious. But like what happens on average, you kind of get disappointed about things. And I was incredibly disappointed about what happened at Onside. But, the one thing that I am, man, I'm not that guy that's going to dwell on it. I got to turn the page, as Bob Seger would say, and move on. And if somebody's not going to, get it done, well, then I'm going to get it done one way or another and do something else. And listen, look at the landscape of what's going on. Unfortunately, between CBS and Intercom, and they're called Odyssey now, they have destroyed sports radio in this town. Destroyed. I don't even know how. It's South Florida fans don't look at it that way locally and nationally, but they should. They should take it out on those companies. Now, CBS is no longer here, but Odyssey is. And they're the ones that fire great people all over the place. 70% of their talent has been either fired or they left. And they don't care about any local town they're in. They certainly don't give a shit about this one. And so they fire people and then they start piping in more syndicated crap. Like you guys want to hear about the Rams. You know what I mean? Or the Mets or you want to hear about the Carolina Panthers or what's going on with the, whatever, the Angels or the Cincinnati Bengals or what. No. You want to hear about the Dolphins. You want to hear about the Heat. You want to hear about the Canes. You want to hear about Inter and the Panthers and the Marlins. And, that's what you want to hear because you're a South Florida sports fan. And the more and more you turn on those stations, the more syndicated garbage is on. You know what I mean? And you look at it, and I wish the South Florida fan would get pissed and absolutely boycott these idiots. There's plenty of stuff on digital that you can listen to, not just myself. And our show actually cares more about South Florida sports than those two stations combined. We got more insiders in both those stations combined. You know what I mean? So I'm with you, man. It's a shame. And I wish I wish I would have been able to find the right partner, but I've learned my lesson on my last two trips of doing stuff. If I'm not working with the right owner the next time around, I'm done. And since it didn't happen, this is probably the best format to go with at this point. I mean, this is where we're headed anyway. People aren't listening to radio anymore like they used to. Not for news, not for talk, and not for also music. And TV is the same way. We're not watching TV the way we used to either. We go home and it's YouTube and Prime and, whatever it is that you watch out there, Netflix, you name it. That's what you do. Hulu, that's what Peacock, whatever, Apple TV, Disney TV. That's what we're doing now. We're watching apps, basically. We don't watch cable anymore. We don't watch satellite that much anymore. A lot of us are getting rid of all of that stuff. I will say, since I got rid of the boxes in the house, man, it's nice not to have all those wires and boxes and all that, and just a smart TV, and that's it. It's all you need, and you're connected with everything. It actually is very convenient. So I appreciate you, my brother, Adrian. Thank you. And it's fun to do this. It's fun to do this because we're able to connect with people, So I really appreciate it out there. Sam Thompson is in the house. He's across the pond. What's up, Sam? Thank you, sir. Jamie says, Big O, I feel that most Fins fans, 90% have been on board with Tua and the Flocess, and a smaller and noisier group are the negative ones. What's your take on that? There's no doubt. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. That's all. In life, it's like that. The Karens and the Kens are loud, but they're the minority. But they're a pain in the ass minority, and they're going to make themselves heard. But most of us don't act like Kens and Karens, right? Most of us care about humanity. Most of us care about our fellow man or fellow woman. You know what I mean? But the ones that don't, yeah, they're a minority. Hey, listen, man, I think overall people are good. It's just unfortunately we got a small section of people that are bad. And it's like, hey, listen, we watch football every day, right? That locker room has 53 guys, and then whatever you have on the practice squad, 10, 12, 77, whatever they're doing this year. Most of those guys are good people, man. Now, who do we end up hearing from? The 2 or 3 idiots in each locker room in the NFL that beat their girlfriends, get arrested for DUI, drugs. They do something stupid, and they're the loud ones, and they're the ones that stand out. But more often than not, if we're honest with ourselves, most of the dudes that walk into that each NFL locker room, they're good people, man. They're hardworking people just like you and me. Obviously, they work at a different job than you and I. They were blessed with a different skill set than you and I, and they're blessed with another, what's it called, salary structure than you and I. You know what I'm saying? But overall, they're good people. Because I've walked into NFL locker rooms and NBA locker rooms and NHL locker rooms for many years, and most of those people are good human beings. The guys you hear from are always the 2 or 3 idiots that end up screwing it up for everybody else. That's just the way it is. So, yeah, I'm with you there. It's the negative are usually the minority, and they're loud. That's what it is. The YouTube platform is the best, Big O. You've always been close to your listeners and followers. 2008 to present moment, been tuned in daily. Thank you, NorCal. I appreciate you, man. Very kind. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. That's so kind of you. I appreciate you. Ethereum Elemental says, there are definitely some bad actors out in the world. Still a lot of good, though. I agree. There's still a lot of good. I think there's a lot of us out there that, we care about each other and we want to help each other. Hank Goldberg's left nut, which, by the way, Hank Goldberg's left nut, thank you for the donation yesterday. The Patriots season is totally a function of the quarterbacking they get. The rest of the team is solid enough, and the coaching will be there. Yeah, but I still think Miami will be better when it's all said and done. Steve Chapman says, who knows, maybe Buffalo will suck this year. We've seen it before. Atlanta goes to the Super Bowl, garbage since. Same for the Rams and Niners too. Lost the Super Bowl, average team since. Could happen. You're right. Could happen, Steve. And it also could happen that the Dolphins take the next step. Maybe Buffalo's pretty good, but Miami got better. Why not? Why can't I think that? You know what I mean? I'm certainly not going to sit here and just paint every picture like it's going to be negative. Like my boy Omar, I'm afraid that Tua's going to get slammed and blow out a shoulder, and it's like, where the hell is that coming from, bro? Why am I going to think that? That's like getting, when you get married, you got a friend always. Maybe some of us end up with 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 friends or family members, who knows? But there's always that one friend, all right? Doesn't matter who gets married. Trust me, this happens. More often than not, it happens. And I don't know if it happens to the ladies. The ladies are going to have to tell me, send me the email at BigORadioshow@yahoo.com or on Twitter at Big O Show. But at least for the guys, because I've been around it. It happened to me. There's always that friend of yours that says, dude, are you sure she's the one? Are you sure you're going to get married? Like, you're going to be together forever? What if you get a divorce? Yeah, there's always that buddy of yours, right, that just wants to, like, okay, what if you get a divorce? And I remember getting that question, and I looked at my friend and I said, dude, I didn't get married to think about divorce. It's not like I'm opening up a business and I'm thinking about failing. No, dude, that's the farthest thing from my mind. I'm not going to think about failure. And when this Dolphin season opens up, I'm not thinking about Tua getting injured. Like my man Omar painted that picture. I was like, damn, dude, you got to be so brutal on this. Come on. Relax. So anything's possible, man. And we've watched it in the NFL and in Major League Baseball and in hockey. I mean, we saw our Panthers, a young franchise with a whole bunch of journeymen, get to the Stanley Cup Finals. We watched an 03 Marlins team, not the 97 team. The 97 team was zero surprise that they were in the playoffs, that they were in the World Series, and that they won the World Series. And if you bring them back, there would have been no surprise if they could have defended their title and win another one. That team was loaded. That team was experienced. Zero surprise. It was beautiful. I loved it that they won, but no surprise. 0-3. Now that, ladies and gentlemen, was a shocker. A whole bunch of young guys have career years, and they call two guys up in Cabrera and Dontrell Willis, and they have these magical runs. And from May on, it catapulted the Marlins to a stratosphere that none of us ever imagined. So you are right, Steve. It could happen. You never know, man. The Heat last year, give me a break. They're not an NBA finalist. And yet the magic happened in the bubble, dude. And they played at a level that was just absolutely awesome. And it was kind of a perfect storm because some of the teams they were facing weren't mentally as strong, and they were able to take advantage, and they found themselves in the finals. And the crazy part is, just like the 0-3 Marlins, if they didn't have the injuries, they would have had a legitimate shot at winning that series. So, yeah, things can happen. And we've watched those miracle runs by teams even in our backyard. So don't tell me that Miami can't beat Buffalo. They can beat Buffalo. Now, who should win? Buffalo. They should. They're the better team right now. But don't tell me the Dolphins can't get there. Jalen Phillips steps up and Javon Holland steps up, along with already what you have in that secondary, that secondary and in that front seven. You're going to have one hell of a defense, because Agba needs that other guy. And then that'll open up for Van Ginkel also, and Seiler and Wilkins and all these other guys to get out, and Jerome Baker to get after the quarterback. And if Javon Holland brings that balance to that secondary with those two corners, holy shit. And if Nick Needham, who has matured and gotten better, he also, steps up in a big-time way, it becomes nasty. And if Tua is actually the guy that I think he is, and if that line settles in and plays decent football, they don't have to dominate. I don't need him to be Larry Little. Would be nice. Would be nice if they all become all pros or Hall of Famers. I would love that. But I'm just saying, if the line is decent, the kind of quarterback Miami has now, he'll be fine. He'll find a way to make plays. So don't tell me it's impossible. I see a coach every year that his team improves every year. Why not? Don't tell me it's impossible. I'm with you, Steve. 100%. There's no way. Look, Dolphins, this is not, we're done with the negative stuff. I keep telling you, leave the damn past behind. Stop thinking about the other shoe falling. You can allow yourself to think pleasant thoughts. You can allow yourself to think about the Dolphins playing good football, fundamental football, winning football. That's what they've been doing. Since 0-7, they're 15-10. So they've played damn good football overall, and they're only scratching the surface. You got a coach that's not going to be complacent. So, yeah, I'm with Steve. Allow yourself to have a little fun. Allow yourself to think, hey, man, my team can get to that point. It's possible. Now, realistically, yeah, we have to give Buffalo their due, man. I hate it. It sucks. And you have to say, hey, Buffalo, yeah, you deserve it. You're balling. I get it. All right, let's give me 1 minute here. Let me rest the voice, get a little water, and hour number 2 is next.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill, and there's 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
This is the Big O Show.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Howdy, welcome aboard. Hope you all are doing well out there. Hope you're enjoying a Tuesday. Thank you all for joining us. Remember, many ways to reach out to us on the program. First of all, please smash the like button. It's incredibly important that you smash the hell out of that like button. Remember, Yahoo email, Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. Twitter, Big O Show. YouTube, of course, share the link. You can also reach out to us there on the chat board. Reach out to us there. Many ways to support us on the program. Dolphin Blogger says, Big O Show, totally agree. Hester should be in the Hall of Fame. It doesn't open the door for conversation about other specialists. He's the only returner that you will ever have to put in the Hall of Fame. No reason not to. He's one of a kind. No one is even close to how good he was. You're right. I mean, he deserves to be in the Hall. Now, there might be some other returners eventually that should be in the Hall of Fame too. You know what I mean? But there's no doubt. I wouldn't put it like nobody else is ever going to make it. But I have no problem with Hester. Hey, listen, if you're going to put in a kicker or a punter, why wouldn't you put in a returner? You know, that's what I was telling Omar yesterday. And when I told Omar that, he was kind of like hesitant because you don't really think about that. But if you do think about it, a returner can have maybe even a bigger impact than a punter. And I know a punter can change fields and help you with field position, but he doesn't play the defense. So ultimately, if the defense is not that good, the punt really didn't matter. They still drove down the field and scored. Now, you return a punt or a kickoff for a touchdown, that might be the end of the game. You might have won the game. Right? And Devin Hester, I'm sure, won a few games on his own, just with some great returns. Not completely on his own. Obviously, they have to block for him. But you know what I'm saying. What's the effed up part about it all with Devin Hester? The most effed up part that I've never recovered from with Devin Hester. Effing Larry Coker couldn't figure out how to use his ass. That's the part that just drove me crazy with him. Coker, that is. Let's see. Tremolio says, please study precession of the equinox and how the earth heats and cools over thousands of years. Has nothing to do with pollution. It's just nature. Really, dude? So you don't believe in global warming? So you don't believe our seas are rising? Seriously? Come on, man. I mean, all right, Tremolo, you know more than scientists all over the world that are talking about it. I guess they're just creating all this for no reason at all, right? The Paris climate change thing. Yeah, I guess they're doing it for fun. I mean, come on, man. How are you going to live in denial with that? I think it's called an ozone layer, bro, and we're screwing it all up. And that's why the damn Earth is heating up, too. It's going up in degrees. Come on, man. Vaughn954 says, hit that like button. Hells to the yeah. Brandon Flood says, Cole Beasley out with COVID protocol for 5 days with Davis as well. Yeah, man. This COVID stuff is still getting in the way of all of our lives. And it's going to get, and listen, it's tough enough to kill the COVID off. If we all can vaccinate, it'll still take a process to kill it all off. But as long as we have a lot of people unvaccinated, it's going to keep it alive a lot longer. It took us a couple decades to eliminate polio with a vaccine. Without a vaccine, it's going to last a lot longer. Hell, it might, and it mutates. As we keep it alive, it mutates and it mutates and it mutates and it keeps changing and it gets worse. And the Delta variant is the worst one of them all right now. Jeremy Dorset is in. King Short in. Sean Dixon says, first time listening. Great show. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you, my man. Thank you for keeping it locked here on the program. Fourth and Goal says positivity always and no politics, please, or environmental stuff. Yeah, well, it's life, bro. You know, relax. And remember, there's one thing about this show. Nobody tells me what to talk about. Nobody. Okay? So that's the way it goes. And you won't get very far with me if you're going to try to tell me what to talk about. Let's see. Derek says, nice to be off work and get right to the O on the tube. Thank you, sir. Clarence Collins is in. Top of the morning. Thank you, Clarence. Appreciate you. Big Drip Entertainment is in. Don't fuck with me now, Big Drip, all right? Don't start with that shit, okay? Now you're going to start sending some stuff that you're going to confuse the shit out of me, all right? I know you. Now, I see I've already caught up to your trick now, okay? Let me send the 50-year-old some hip stuff that us young people talk about so I can confuse the old fart. That's what you're doing. I get you. You're having fun with me. Tack Loves Art is in. Adrian Gonzalez says, oh, just dropped in. You definitely are the go-to host. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. What else do we have here? Let me go through the bottom here, the latest stuff. Michael Bustamante says, Big O, what are your thoughts on Musk bringing out AI robots? Is it me or it feels like we are living in the movies? Terminator, iRobots, your thoughts? It's the inevitable. We were actually talking about that yesterday at American Dream Lending. It's funny. Anthony brought that up too. He goes, what's going? And it just looks like we're headed. I mean, whatever can be automated is automated already, right? Restaurants. I just saw where Chick-fil-A is closing some of their dining rooms because they don't have enough employees. I have a Chinese restaurant close by, and they, since the pandemic started, and now they could have changed it, and they haven't. They eliminated their dining room. The chairs are there and the tables are there, but they don't allow you in anymore. They have a table right as you walk into the door, and you have to stand behind that table and wait for your order. It's only pickup. And they're fine with it because apparently they have enough business pickup wise that they can make money, I guess. And they have less employees now because they don't have to pay for a waitress or two and a busboy. They don't have to pay any and washing dishes. Well, you less people to wash dishes because there's less dishes to wash. It's just the stuff you cook with. You see what I'm saying? All of this. And so they're saving themselves money on one end, and they figure, well, if we save our money all on this and we can make all our money with pickup, and, you know, we order every once in a while, and we've never actually, it's been in it was here before we got here, and we've been in our neighborhood for 15 years, and I think we ate once inside, one time early in our existence in this neighborhood. We ate one time inside. Everything is headed in the direction of automation if they can, man. If they can eliminate your ass, like Walmart with the cashiers, like the toll plaza, whatever is all this stuff coming. Now they've got more pickup service than ever now in restaurants. They're going to try to eliminate people as much as possible. So this AI stuff, I mean, it was coming, man. Tremolio has some awful takes. Vaccination doesn't and shouldn't equate to left or right, or should climate change seem like common theme here is thinking. You're smarter than scientists. I know. I'm with you there. I mean, when you think that climate change is not real, I mean, give me a break, bro. Come on. Elemental says humans are 100% contributing to the increase in global temperatures. Of course, man. It's proven. Come on, man. Let's see. What else do we have here? Devin Hester terrorized teams when it was time for kick or punts. Amen to that. Troy Ortiz says, John Denny needs to get in the Hall of Fame long snapper. Man, he was solid for so damn long. Big O Zach Thomas should be in the Hall of Fame. Long overdue. Amen, my brother. Amen. Eric Storm says Steve Tasker should also be in the Hall of Fame for special teams. And that's another guy that you could consider him a Hall of Famer. Dude, if you're going to put punters and kickers in there, then specialists should be considered. Great specialists should be considered. Carrillo says we have all seen what the Bills got Josh Allen. Not for 1 second did Coach Flo have a plan on how to surpass or suppress that offense, not to mention how our defense has improved from last year. Coach Flo and company, our Dolphins are in good hands, man. Watch Jakeem Grant take that opening kickoff to the house against Buffalo. I like it, HYSSY. Hi, Psy. Is that how I'm supposed to pronounce it? Dougie Fresh says, whoever invented yoga pants for women should be in the Hall of Fame. I would have to agree with that one, right? Yoga pants inventor, Hall of Fame, no doubt. No doubt. Anthony says, just want to thank Big O for truly encouraging an open forum and talking about whatever the hell he wants. Well, that's how it's always going to be. Dan Kotek says, Richmond Webb should be in the Hall of Fame. I agree, man. I agree. Hall of Fame in football, Hall of Fame as a human being. Both for Richmond Webb. I don't know if they have a Hall of Fame for human beings, but if they had a Hall of Fame for human beings, you can bet your ass that Richmond Webb would be a first ballot Hall of Famer there. Big O, in August of 2005, Miami-Dade switched to automated garbage collection. Oh, that's right. That's another one. That's right. That machine that picks it up. There's not the dude that gets off and throws it. You are correct. Garbage collection by July 2008, single stream recycling by 2010, cashless tolls, and now cashless tolls throughout Florida. Yeah, of course. It's where we're going. If they can do it, damn right, they're going to eliminate it. If they can pay less, then that's what it's all about, man. What else do we have there? Big O, Coach Flo going live in 2 minutes. Really? You know what? Maybe we should do a little sum there, right? You figure we should actually carry Coach Flo. I like that. Good idea. I didn't know that they were going live at that time. Figured I'm just doing a show, and we don't have Alex till noon, so that makes a lot of sense. So what we'll do is we'll wait till Coach Flo comes on, and we will carry Coach Flo's press conference. I already know how to do it. You know what I mean? Although Sean is on the other end, Sean could probably help me out with it, but we will definitely carry Flo's press conference for you, and we will go over his comments. So stick with us here while we get that going. All right, folks? I like that. Marlins back in action tonight. Nationals and Marlins 7-10. I think they've lost 7 in a row. Atlanta Falcons signed Josh Rosen. Wow. So Sam Eguavoen had 4 sacks, a safety, and a QB KO, right? It was his hit. Not that he was trying to, damage the kid's ACL. You know what I mean? But I got to say, can I say something? I admire A.J. McCarron. Seriously. I admire A.J. McCarron a lot. He looks like a nice young man, but I admire him for this. He has stolen a couple $1 million already from the NFL as a very mediocre quarterback that would never be a starter in this league and would be a mediocre backup as it is. Seriously. I mean, I'm impressed with that. Some of these quarterbacks that get away with stealing that kind of money is, I mean, in my book, super impressive. I got to admit, super impressive. And then the guy now gets to hang out for a whole year out for the ACL, and guess who he has at home? You guys remember his girlfriend from the national championship game when Brett Musburger was like drooling on the air for her? And she's a smoke show. Don't get me wrong here. So the guy married a smoke show. The guy won a national championship with Alabama. And then he gets to steal millions in the NFL as a guy you would never want to be your starting quarterback in the team. It's impressive. Think about that. You are taking money for a job you can't do. That's impressive. That's like you working at a car sales dealership and they give you commissions from everybody else and you don't sell anything. But everybody else has got to give you a percentage of their sales just because you're a nice guy or something. Just think about that. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? A.J. McCarron, that guy's my hero, man. You win a national championship, you marry a babe, and then you go off without a gun and a mask. You don't even need a gun and a mask. He's not even a hacker. Those badasses that can like steal money from anybody. Those people are scary, by the way. Hackers, man, those people are intimidating. They can like ruin your life in like 5 seconds. But A.J. McCarron, I mean, don't you want to be A.J. McCarron? Right? Saban carries your ass to a national title with all that talent. You marry a smoking hot babe, and then you make millions in the NFL. And now you've got an ACL injury, and you get hurt a baby you for the next couple of months. I mean, seriously, he's going to be in a bed with a babe watching the Atlanta Falcons. That's impressive. I'm serious. That guy's my hero. Dougie Fresh says, "Oh, music talk. Have you listened to Weezer's version of Enter Sandman?" Dude, you know, I almost did it yesterday and I forgot. I got something happened that I got off my train of thought to do it. And it's funny because on YouTube yesterday when I was watching YouTube, and I watch a lot of YouTube. YouTube for me is my favorite TV. I'm not talking about YouTube TV. I'm talking about regular YouTube. I can watch news from all over the world. I can keep up with a lot of things quickly, man. It's awesome. And there was somebody, you know, had some shots of Weezer and the Interrupters and all that at the stadium at Hard Rock, and the videos were posted, and I didn't get to watch it, but it reminded me. I go, oh man, I got to hear Weezer's version of Enter Sandman because I've never heard it, and because you mentioned it, and something happened that I completely got off the train of thought of it, and I never went back. I will today. I will definitely watch Weezer's video of Enter Sandman and hear it for the first time. I got to say, I actually enjoyed Weezer a little bit more than I enjoyed what's it called? Fall Out Boy. Right? Fall Out Boy sounded bigger as a band, but personally, I enjoyed Weezer a little bit more. I thought they were actually pretty good. I enjoyed them. Not as much as the Interrupters, certainly not as much as Green Day, but I did enjoy them. But I promise you, Doug, that I will do the homework and check out Weezer and Enter Sandman tonight. Ray says, perfect example of a backup QB making millions over the years, Chase Daniel. Yeah, Chase has been a monster, right? He has got a monster bank account and done nothing for it. Gotta love it, right? Gotta love it. Too bad 95% of YouTube is garbage. Yeah, but at least I get to watch the 5% that's good, which is the news around the world, music all the time. Although I wouldn't go 95% because there's a lot of music, a lot of concerts. So I kind of enjoy that. I get to watch a lot of music on YouTube. I don't know about you guys, but that's actually a lot of fun. Chase Daniels out here finessed the NFL hard. Yes, he did, Akaris. Yes, he did, my friend. He is an absolute stud with the way he has broken it all down. Brett goes, okay, 92%. Thank you, at least, for giving me a couple more percents. He says 5% of YouTube is still a lot of content. But you know what? Now that I think about it, you're right. But the music has to be bigger than 5%, right? Has to be bigger than 5%. But either way, whatever. We're arguing semantics. It's just not a big deal. Falcons are desperate. Yeah, they are. So we had the Falcons sign Josh Rosen. So he'll battle Felipe Franks. And the Chiefs released Taco Charlton, one of their releases. So the former Dallas Cowboy draft pick. And yes, he had a cup of coffee here with the Miami Dolphins also. So they released Taco Charlton. Taco did tweet out, thanks to Chief Nation for embracing me. And it's always kind of baffling when we see these kind of cats that are extremely talented and they just can't find a way to put it all together at this level. And I think some of that, obviously, some of you out there have already overreacted, and you've got Noah Igbenogany already going in that direction. And it's way too early for that. Got to give the kid some time to actually develop. But there are those moments that when you see certain guys and their talent skills and you say, okay, well, why can't you figure it out? And Taco Charlton is big enough, athletic enough, but he can't find the consistency. It's just like the guy he replaced here that obviously did not get it done also at defensive end. Two guys from the same draft and two guys that were, I thought Taco was more picked because he could hold the edge and stop the run and then be a decent pass rusher, right? And then Miami got a guy that they thought would be a really good pass rusher and not so good against the run, would have to develop a little bit more against the run. Either way, neither guy could ever figure it out. And Taco obviously still bouncing around the NFL trying to find a job and trying to find some consistency. Romo just said Zach Wilson reminds him of Marino and has throws that could be better than Mahomes. Okay, that's a lot of praise until I actually see it on the field and against, regular season competition, then I'll believe it. Now, there's no doubt that the kid is talented. If you watch him, he can make every throw in the book. That I will say, but making every throw in the book in air or, preseason or something like that, it's nice, but I got to see it in the regular season, and then we'll figure it out. I am guilty. It's kind of like what happened with Josh Allen. I don't watch Wyoming football. I don't watch BYU football. So I didn't really get a good feel for either quarterback. And with Josh Allen, they would say, well, he didn't throw at a high completion percentage, and it was a weak conference. And then a lot of people made excuses for him, and maybe those people that made excuses were actually telling you the facts. He had poor talent around him. And that's why he also struggled, that his team around him was really bad. And you look at the Buffalo Bills, and, he's got a pretty good team around them. They added an elite receiver last year by trading, and the kid has been absolutely phenomenal. And what we saw in Josh Allen the first year compared to what we were watching years 2 and 3, that's two different things, man. And especially year 3, where he blew up and played at a Pro Bowl level, is what we have to say is the way he played. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. We'll see. You never know. You never know. That throw at Wilson's pro day was sick. I agree, Big O. Yeah, it was. It was. I mean, athletically, he looks like he's got it, but we've seen that before. It's doing it in chaos. It's doing it at the NFL level is what we have to see. And we never got to see him at least I didn't, at a high level at BYU with, pressure type moments, and that he beat big time teams. I don't know even if he did that. I know Josh Allen didn't because he plays at Wyoming. In that conference, you're not going to really play any elite teams out there. We'll see. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Let's see. What else do we have here? Why are the Falcons so desperate? Their backup sucks that bad. Rosen is awful. Yeah, Rosen's been awful, bro. Yeah, they're desperate. Josh Rosen is a guy that at this point I wouldn't give him the time of day anymore. And I'm one of those guys that believed in Rosen. I had no problem with the trade. I had no problem giving him an opportunity. I liked the kid, how he would throw the ball at UCLA, but it's here, man. It's what you can't measure. Once you get to the NFL, you will then find out, even if you have the talent, like what we were talking about with Zach Wilson. But now if you can't put it together at this level with all the pressure and expectations that are there, then you don't belong in this league. And to me, Josh Rosen, it's not a physical thing. I think it's completely up here with Josh Rosen. And if you're not well put together here, where you can understand what's going on and decipher it, and then deal with the successes and the failures of that position, because you think about it, when you succeed as a quarterback in the NFL, you get all that praise, your head gets big, you got to kind of stay level-headed with all of this. And then when you fail, you're going to get killed. And in the process, while you're getting killed, you've got to also tune it out and not take it seriously either. You got to stay level-headed. I don't know if Josh Rosen can do that. I think he looks like a guy that he may not tell you from the exterior, but in the interior, there's got to be a lot of emotion that builds up with this kid, and it gets in the way of what he needs to do. At least that's what I see with Josh Rosen. I see a guy that mentally just doesn't have it. And I would never, ever take a chance on bringing him on a team anymore. I've seen enough. He's had plenty of chances, man. Arizona gave up on him within a year. The new coach took over, looked at it and said, no, I'm out of here. All right? And then Miami got him. And immediately Flo was not a fan of the kid. Now he goes to San Francisco, and he can't make it there either. And now he's in Atlanta. I just, at this point, he is already an emotional wreck. And the fact that he's on his fourth team now, I think that makes it worse for a guy like that. If he was a stable person, then I can understand. Like Fitz. Fitz is a guy that could deal with any of his flaws and his errors and all that kind of stuff because he knew how to turn it all off, and he knew how to kind of what's that called? Block all of it out and not let it affect him. So he could go out there and be himself and play his game. Now, his game sometimes could be a little dangerous, right? It could get some people in trouble. Could get him in trouble. But he was still fearless about that. So he was able to turn that off. Turn all the stuff, all the talking around him. It didn't matter to him. And you have to be mentally strong that way. I don't believe Josh Rosen is that guy. I just don't. That's my issue with that. Coach Flores, by the way, has been moved to 11:50 a.m. So he will be joining the Meteors in about 11 minutes. We will try to carry that for you. And maybe what we'll do is we'll talk to Alex to push back her interview just because Flo's not going to do more than 10, 12 minutes. And so maybe I can react a little bit on it. I'll elaborate a little bit more after. But then we'll get Alex on and we'll talk a little Inter. And then we've got to get also to the University of Miami because we definitely have some issues there. And I got to tell you something. I told you earlier about Urban Meyer, right? That I'm not a fan of Urban Meyer, the human being. And I use that term very loosely, human being. Okay? Just want to say, I'm sorry, but with that guy, I just, okay? The University of Miami finds themselves in the same position on dealing with a specific human being, and his name is Avante Williams. And for the love of the game, the desperation of winning, the desperation of saving your ass, the University of Miami is now, they want to gather the facts and see what they do in order to try to bring the young man back. So it says University of Miami football program is deciding whether to allow safety Avante Williams to rejoin the program. Coach Manny Diaz indicated on Monday after practice. As you all know, he was dismissed from the team after allegations of domestic violence. Prosecutors declined to file charges against him, and the case was closed. Now, the attorney, Michael Etienne, spoke with the media on Saturday night, and he said the priority is to get Avante back into school playing the sport he loves. On Monday, Etienne said he was still awaiting a decision. That's exactly what we were told yesterday, that they were basically waiting for the decision makers to make the decision. We're not entirely sure whose decision makers are, but we're still waiting for an official response. Now, they charged him with 3 counts of aggravated battery on a pregnant victim. Remember, he had another girlfriend, and he told this one, the pregnant one, to get her stuff out and be gone by the time he got there. When he got to the apartment, she was still there. So when she was ordered to leave the apartment, according to the police report, Williams later in the day grabbed the woman many times, throwing her outside, causing her to hit her head on the ground. Fire rescue paramedics took her to the West Kendall Hospital and noted multiple bruises to her arms, a minor bruise on her neck, and 2 broken fingernails, the arrest report said. But according to the state attorney, the woman told prosecutors she didn't want to press charges. The victim stated she is not a victim and does not feel the defendant will harm her or her unborn child, according to a final memo on the case. The victim advised that she was in emotional distress when she spoke to the police and that the police were trying to make the situation worse than it was. Okay, she claims the bruises and injuries were from when she moved into her apartment, not from the defendant battering her. So the woman recanted her statement. The state declined to file charges because there were no independent witnesses, and Williams made no admissions to law enforcement. So is the University of Miami just going to act like really stupid and allow this lowlife to get back on the team? Because I'm not believing that bullshit. This is just a girl that now wants to make sure she doesn't get in the way of the guy that has to pay her child support. And the only way Avante Williams is going to pay child support if he goes back to football and somehow makes it to the NFL. He knows it. She knows it. Okay? I don't care what anybody tells me here. That's a bunch of lies. And this happens all the time with battered women. That's the University of Miami. What are you going to do? Oh, well, no. Well, the charges weren't filed. Is that the excuse you're going to use? Seriously? You're actually going to look at people straight in the face and tell them that, well, the charges were dropped. We feel he's a good young man and this and that. I saw the video yesterday on Channel 7 and him saying, well, I'll be there for my child. I don't know if I would want that guy around my child. I don't believe a damn thing that's said there. I don't believe Avante Williams. I don't believe the young lady. I don't believe a damn thing that goes. And this happens all the time in these kind of cases. Woman is either scared or woman is desperate for money or the free ride or whatever it is, and they're willing to put up with the abuse. It's sad, man. And if you're the University of Miami, you're that desperate to win that you would bring that guy back. And if you're Manny Diaz, how can you, with a straight face, once the media asks you about that, you're actually going to defend what's going on and defend the move? And I get it. You're Manny Diaz. You have sucked for the first 2 years. The heat is building up on you. And you're so desperate to win and save your ass, you'll probably do anything, including allowing Avante Williams to come back. And for any of you out there to start to bring me that bullshit of, well, everybody makes mistakes. That's not a mistake. That's a crime. He should go back to junior college is what Avante Williams needs to do. That's the lesson he needs to learn. But what's University of Miami going to do? Are they worried that somebody else in the conference is going to give them a chance? And then they're going to miss out on bringing that guy? And are you sure that guy's not going to do this again and embarrass you? You know what I mean? Terrence says, stop believing what you want. The law is the law. I don't care what the law is the law. Terrence, I don't give a shit about that, dude. All right? You want to go and follow the stupid-ass technicality? You can go ahead and follow the stupid-ass technicality. I don't care about that, dude. I'm smart enough to know what the hell went on there. Like a lot of these abusive situations where the woman takes the beating and she's so desperate for money or whatever it is that she puts up with the abuse. Or she's afraid. One of the two. So if you don't have any common sense, you know what happened in this case. It's like, what's the name of the loser that was with Carolina and went to the MMA now? And he assaulted his girlfriend, threw her on guns, all that kind of, had a bed of guns, and he threw her on there, and then she disappeared. When the case was being brought up, she all of a sudden disappeared. So the case had to go by the wayside because the witness could not be found. Wow, I wonder what happened with that witness. I guess he must be innocent then, right? Because she didn't want to press charges. Come on, Terrence. Hey, Terrence, I've got a bridge in the Keys. It's on the right side when you're going, south, right? I've got it for sale, bro. If you want, I'll sell it to you. I'm not sure, but if you're interested, I'll sell you that bridge. You can have your own bridge, man. Seriously, I got that deal for you. Greg Hardy, that's the loser. That's the loser. I mean, seriously, how do you look the other way if you're the University of Miami with Avante Williams? How? You know what happened in this situation. It's the typical of what happens all the time in these abusive relationships. Sad, man. That woman now, she's in that vicious web, and she's at risk. Because if he did it once, he'll do it again. Terrence, he's innocent. Yeah, sure he is. Of course. Of course. Of course. But Terrence, I have that bridge. I got the bridge. Seriously. It's all yours. It's available. I'm not going to rent it. I got to sell it. I just want you to know. Didn't sound like much of a beating, but he definitely should have called the police to help remove her from his house. Hopefully he learns to control his emotion. Yeah, if he was smart, he would have called the police and said, hey, get her out of here. But, once you start dragging her out and throwing her to the street, that's the way it is. The enemy of the family is the police. Yeah. You have this topic 100% wrong, Big O. The injustice system is focused on money. They destroy everyone involved in domestic situations. Well, I just worry about the woman. And I know what's gone on here in this situation because it's obvious and it happens all the time. Woman ends up with all kinds of battered and beaten, and she ends up defending the person that did all the beating because she needs that person for a specific reason. And it's sad, dude. Sad. It's not the way it should be. And no man should ever treat a woman like that. But, what do I know about that? I've only been married for 30 years. Oh, face it, some people are freaking morons and they don't see the big picture. Well, we'll find out if the University of Miami are bigger morons and allow this kid to get back onto the team. Alexander says 100% true. Battered women put up with it in silence, especially in this scenario. She has his child and he's a future NFL player. Yep. Terrence says, Big O, need to learn something about women lying. Her fake nails were broken. Well, maybe she's trying to defend herself. You ever tried that? Right? Or maybe, you know what? When you're thrown to the ground and you maybe are trying to break your fall, yeah, your nails could get broken, Terrence. That's all right, my brother. That's all right. You go ahead and defend a woman beater. Go ahead. Wait a minute. Hey, Terrence, is your last name Meyer? Are you related to Urban up in Jacksonville? Not exactly sure because he employs, a lot of people like that. So I don't know. Are you because you're defending women beaters. So I mean, I got you. I got you, bro. I got you. Terrence Meyer. Terrence Meyer sounds good, actually. Now, I know you got Henton there, but something tells me it's Meyer. Yeah, that's all. That's all right. What do we have here? Let me see if Coach Flo is talking to the Meteors. Not yet. I don't see it. I don't see it, folks. So there we go. There we go. We got Coach Flo. Here we go. We are going to get Coach Flo on for you now. Give me a second here so we can get it done. And we will put on Coach Flo for you. There we go. And, I'm sorry. Here we go, folks. Let's get Coach Flo on.
They're working to get back. They'll be out there today. So I don't know, from that standpoint, there isn't, I know that they're doing everything they can, and that's really all we can ask of them. So that's kind of the approach I take. Look, injuries happen. Guys get dinged. The only thing we can ask is that they do everything they can to get back as quickly as they can. And, all the guys who are dealing with, nicks and bruises are doing what they can to get back. And,
Wasn't a walkthrough today?
Look, I mean, they're doing everything they can to get back. I think we're getting closer. Would they be back if there wasn't a walkthrough? I think they're getting closer. We'll have to find out tomorrow since we'll be here tomorrow.
Jalen Waddle went back in last game, but it's something you'll still have to monitor this week going forward.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen's a tough kid. I think he'll, again, he's first training camp dealing with some nicks and bruises. He's getting, in the training room doing preventative work, getting treatment. So he'll be out there.
What have you seen from Hunter Long? And if you could also, include in that, he seems to be showing some toughness.
Joe Shad, baby.
Well, he was down for some time there. Worked hard to get back. Got back last week and did a couple good things in practice against Atlanta, and then played in the game. So he's a tough kid. He's a hardworking kid, and he's young. He needs reps, and he's getting them. And we're going to try to get him in this practice week, which is an important week for us in the game, and just try to take it one day at a time and get better.
You said you were going to have a meeting to kind of decide how many of the starters might play. I guess I'll start with Tua. Do you know if Tua is going to play?
We're still going through that. Still, having discussions about how much, we'll play those guys. So, still undecided.
When it comes to the new IR rules the league had, I know it carries over from last season. How much thought does that play into when you're putting together 53 and trying to figure out what
Omar Kelly, another insider
on IR and then come back? Come on.
I mean, they're different. It's different in training camp. The IR rule that I think you're alluding to.
I mean, when it's regular season, in terms of guys, I guess they initially make the 53. Then once that day is passed, you can put them on IR with the opportunity to remove them after 3 games.
Right. So, I guess for right now, if we put a player on IR, he's done. And then if, a player who makes the 53, after that day, then assuming an injury, which you never want to assume that, but if an injury happens, you can put him down for a minimum of 3 games. I mean, I don't know how much that applies right now, because we would have to release a player, and then he's out on the street, and he can get picked up by anybody. And I guess the conversation is whether or not that's worth. Yeah. I mean, that's. I guess I'm having a hard time understanding the question.
I would rephrase it.
Yeah.
Later.
Yeah.
Once
So basically, we get to the 53. Yeah. Those guys are healthy.
But you have guys like Bowden who is not healthy.
Right.
And initially go on IR. I mean, can initially go on the 53 and then the next day go on IR, create an extra roster spot for a wide receiver.
A wide receiver that we just let go?
No. I'm saying carry him, and that creates good point. You create an extra roster spot for somebody else if he's not going to be healthy to begin the season.
Yeah, all those conversations, Chris, his staff, we have those conversations. Look, if you like a player, you keep him, because you don't want to expose him to the rest of the league and think you're gonna just finagle a rule. I mean, that's not what the rule's made for. So, look, that's I think what you're alluding to. I'm not sure we can really get that done, given how it's, the mechanisms you have to go through to put a player on IR. They have to make the 53, which means you got to cut 30, well, however many, 20, however, whatever the number is to get to 53. And then after that, you can put a player on IR, but you just expose the player you're going to bring back. So there's a lot of, do you want to expose said player or just put that player you're going to put on IR on IR? It's
Right.
a lot, there's a lot of moving parts there.
in terms of the shape that Landon Roberts and Preston Williams are in. Obviously, rhythm, getting back into football activities. From what you see and from the medical staff tells you, does it look realistic that they could help you in week one potentially, or might this be a several-week ramping up process to team football activity for those two?
I mean, you always want to ramp up and give them as much time as possible. I thought, getting them out there last week was good. Good for their confidence. I mean, I think they both felt good getting out there on the field with their teammates. They did some good things. I mean, it was, we weren't out there. They weren't out there all that long. So, yeah, we'll try to ramp them up, get them into some more team drills this week, and hopefully, build on, what we got started with last week.
I'm sure there's a lot of thought that still remains on this subject, but even at this relatively early stage, what are your thoughts on how difficult it's going to be to set the roster at wide receiver?
No, there's a lot of competition in that room, and that competition is still playing out. And again, this is a big week. We've got guys who have practiced. We've got guys who haven't practiced, and we're always going to do what we feel is best for the team. And yeah, there's a lot of competition there. It's going to be some tough decisions that are going to have to be made, and we'll always make them with the thought that we're doing what's best, what we think is best for the team.
Rosters are fluid, especially the back end of an NFL roster. But in terms of the importance of this week and the last preseason game, is it fair to say that there are literally 3 or 4 or more spots that have just not been claimed that are still being fought for?
Yeah, it's fair to say.
What would be the message to those guys who are probably acutely aware that they are literally on that cliff either way?
Work hard, keep improving, and take advantage of your opportunities. That's what I mean. I've mentioned that to our team, many times. I mean, in life, it's about taking advantage of your opportunities. Whether it's football or business or really anything that you're working towards, if you get an opportunity, you want to take advantage of it. So for those guys who are 2-3 spots that are available, they'll have some opportunities to practice, they'll have opportunities in the game, and if they play well, then they put themselves in the best, give themselves the best opportunity to make the team. And if they don't, then they don't put themselves they don't give themselves the best chance.
It's not a week out, but with the NFL obviously on 3 games, you have that extra week. In your eyes, how beneficial is that extra week? And will the preparation for week 1 kind of start as soon as get to the 53-man roster?
You talking about that 3-day weekend that they got? Yeah, that's different. It's different. It's something that that we haven't really dealt with before. So we've had some conversations about how we're going to handle that week with the strength staff, with the medical staff. How we're going to prepare, whether we do it before, whether we do it after. I mean, we've had those conversations, but that'll be a good weekend for our players. They won't be here. We won't. They won't have our direction, so they're gonna have to do a lot of things on their own, from a hydration standpoint, from a workout standpoint. I mean, you don't want to lay on a couch for 3 days and then you think you're going to get up and practice and practice well. So, that'll be the message to those guys, to our guys, and scheduling wise, we'll try to do what we feel gives us the best chance to have success. But we've had some of those conversations. They were in, I would say, the early stages. But then we always come back to, hey, let's just focus on today.
Coach, going back to the 2-3 spots that are still available, is that something that you'd like to see in camp? What does that tell you about camp condition in there?
I mean, that tells us that there's been a lot of competition on the team, and we need to. That's a good thing. I think competition brings out the best in all of us, and it's no different for the players. And hopefully, hopefully that's a motive, something that motivates them to do a little bit more in meetings, do a little bit more in practice, do a little bit more in walkthrough, study a little bit more, and that'll give them a chance to take advantage of the opportunity.
Coach, I know you value high character guys. You've noticed over the years how many guys coming in and out. And all your coaches yesterday mentioned how unselfish the players have to be. So where does that factor when you have such little spots, you know what I'm saying, like character guy versus a guy who could jump out of the gym, but maybe might not have that? And how much harder is it becoming to evaluate that?
I mean, look, it's a sport where you got to get 11 guys on the same page. So, selflessness is a trait that's important in this game. There's just no way around it. I mean, I learned this at a young age from a high school coach. You play baseball, one guy can hit 4 home runs. Play basketball, guys score 70 points. Football, it's not that way. You got to throw it. If you want to throw it to somebody's got to throw it. Somebody's got to catch it. Somebody's got to block. You want to tackle somebody's got to set an edge. You need your teammates. So there's an innate selflessness that you have to play this game. So yeah, it's an important trait, along with really everything else: speed and quickness and intelligence. And I think it's a characteristic that's important in football. And we got a lot of good guys from that standpoint. They do a nice job. They understand that, and they lean on each other, and that part of it's been good.
Eichenberg has been back and forth, right tackle, left guard. Solomon Kinley up and down units. Could you assess each one through their movements on the line or through different units?
Both guys working hard. Both guys making improvement. Both guys, competing to play, competing for an opportunity to play a lot. Both guys have had good moments and not so good moments, and we'll just, again, this week is a big week for everyone on this team, and we're still competing. We're still trying to get better. We're still evaluating, and that's where we're at. Thanks, guys.
There you go. That's the head coach, Brian Flores. There we go. We are back. Thank you all. What's it called? Alex Winley is going to join us at 12:15. We'll get her on. Let me go over a couple things that he talked a little bit about. First of all, Fuller, Parker, and Wilson will be practicing today. Now, today's kind of a walkthrough, so really there's not a lot of stress on the body in a walkthrough, so it's easy for them to participate on that. Now, I think they want to get a feel for how those guys react off of a light workout the following day and then see the progress. He says he's not worried for the regular season for either guy, so he feels that he can have them. Now, by saying that, is he giving away that Wilson makes the team? Because I still don't see I'm still trying to figure out the whole Wilson thing. I got to be honest. I really do. I don't know how you trust that guy and you keep him on your roster. I would rather trade him if you can trade him. Let's see. He's 29. Albert Wilson's never caught more than 4 touchdowns in a season. He has been injured and unreliable the last couple of years with the hip. Dropped out last year because of COVID and got injured again now. But let's see. He had 10 good days running around in shorts. So he's arrived. And he needs to be one of the top 4 receivers for the Miami Dolphins. Wow. Man, that's a stretch. I got to say, I know he's talented. I get all of that. But it's been nothing but a tease the entire time with Albert Wilson. Nothing's ever happened. It's not like he's ever put together a great season. ever. That's the thing that I don't think when you tell me, okay, so he ran around in shorts for 10 days just a couple weeks ago. And so, yeah, no, he was catching everything inside. No, you got to keep him. Okay, he's 29, injured a couple times here in the last couple of years, drops out because of COVID, never had more than 4 touchdowns. Oh, I forgot. He has a little over 700 yards in 2 seasons for the Dolphins. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't see it, man. You know, the whole Albert Wilson thing, I get it. He played well in practice. But I got to go by his track record up until 29 years old now. And what is it, 6-7 years now in the league? I don't know, man. I don't know. I gotta whatever. Like somebody told me on Twitter yesterday, well, they're keeping him on ice. Like he's some secret weapon or something. You mean a secret weapon that can't score more than 4 touchdowns in a year? You mean a secret weapon that gets about 300-400 yards in a season? That's the secret weapon? You mean the guy that ran around in shorts for 10 days here for the Dolphins? Oh, yeah, no, we got to keep him on ice. Yeah, no, we gotta really protect this player here. It is such a winner. Whatever. But anyway, the good news is Coach Flo doesn't feel that Fuller, Parker, or Wilson will. Now, remember, Fuller cannot play game 1. But if he's at least physically ready for game 1, he'll be ready for game 2, which is a beautiful thing. Nothing wrong with that. What else did he say? The cuts, by the way, will happen after practice. So for those of you that are waiting for the cuts, we will wait. Let's see. Xavier Howard won't be at today's walkthrough. He's sick, but it's not COVID related, apparently. Okay. I see that from Omar Kelly and Alan Poupar. What else do we have here? Oh, yep, that's it there. And then he's undecided if Tua will play. I have a simple suggestion. No, don't. I don't need to see Tua anymore. I just don't. I don't want to see him anymore in the preseason. I've seen enough with Tua. What I want is go play the offensive line an entire half. Let those guys play together. Let those guys start to gel as much as possible. They need playing time. You can leave Jacoby Brissett out there for a half and put Reed Sinnett for the second half, and you're done, and it's over. Your history. You know what I mean? Coach did say there's like 2 or 3 spots available right now, but for me personally, look, we got a bunch of people on the chat board right now. Please, besides smashing that like button, please smash it. But tell me right now, would you play Tua in this game here against the Bengals? Tell me. Last game, got a couple weeks left for the regular season to start. Have you seen enough of Tua? Let me take a little poll here. And for those of you that are podcasting, send me the email at Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. Would you play Tua against the Bengals this week? And if you're on Twitter at Big O Show, tell me at Big O Show on Twitter, would you play Tua this week? You know what's coming on the chat board? I don't play Tua. Start Liam Eichenberg. Well, I think Liam, Herman, now that you mentioned that, with Jesse Davis banged up, that's a great idea on your part, dude. Play Eichenberg's ass into the third quarter. That's a great idea. Field says no. Ian says no. Goat says no. Herman says no. Adrian says no. Troy says no. Alex says no need to. Elemental says probably not. Seems risky. Exactly. Don Parlamento, hell no. Radically says yes. It figures radically. You would be the one. Are you like an anti-Dolphin fan? You want to serve his ass up? You're with Omar Kelly. You want that shoulder injured. Let's see. C. Dola also says yes. Come on, guys. Ray says no. Eddie Lepp says 1 series. MLG Pepe says no. Oh, I love it. You guys are awesome. That's fantastic. Anthony says yes. We actually have a couple of yeses. Dougie Fresh says that's a no for me, dog. Radically says agree on Eichenberg. Yeah, no, you got to play his ass. No, I don't mind playing the line. All right, they're not going to be cutting up and hitting knees and all that. They'll be fine. Michael says nope, sit them out. We'll try to hurt. Cincinnati will try to hurt him. Remember what they did to Grant. I would not play him this week. I've seen enough. I don't think you gain anything this week by playing him. I really don't. So it looks like a lot of you feel the same way. All right, let's take a really quick break. When we come back, folks, we are going to talk a little Inter-Miami football. Inter is red hot. Alex Winley does an excellent job of covering Inter-Miami for the Heron Outlet. We will talk to her next.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
This is the Big O Show.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty, let's talk a little Inter-Miami football. The hottest team in South Florida right now. It certainly ain't the Marlins. That's for damn sure. They've lost 7 straight. Meanwhile, Inter-Miami has points, I believe, Alex, 6 of 7 or 5 of 6?
Yeah, I think it's 5
5
out of, yeah, I've got to double check, but they've won 3 out of the last 4 games.
That's right. They have 3 wins and 2 ties.
Yeah.
So it's 5 out of 6. Exactly. That's what it is. They are red hot. Alex Winley does an excellent job of covering the team for the Heron Outlet, and I want you to follow her on Twitter at AAW_1998. Make sure you follow her there. You'll get great insight on the team. And so just when they're playing well, they got to start screwing us over, taking Robbie Robinson out to Chile. I mean, what the hell is that? What's going on, Alex? I mean, that goal he had this week was super sweet, man. That was an awesome goal.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Robbie's known for using his right foot a lot, and he said in the post-game conference that he did that move on Toronto's defender solely because the league knows that he's super right-footed, so he basically flipped the script on them a little bit and faked right, went left, and finished with his off boot. And Chile took notice, and I've heard reports that the Chilean Federation have been in contact with him for a while. So this move isn't out of the blue. Robbie wants to play for Chile. He's posted about Chile on his Instagram. So, and he's been there several times. His mom's Chilean. So it was only a matter of time for him.
Can you explain to us the rule that if he plays for Chile, he can never play for the U.S. ever, or he can't do it for a certain amount of time? Explain that.
I do. I think he has to file a one-time switch in order to switch back. I don't think this is there's a lot of England internationals who play for England youth teams, and then they go on to represent, Jamaica because their family's there.
Right.
This isn't that sort of situation. I don't think Arabi's played for any U.S. youth teams. I'd have to double check, but if he were to switch back to the U.S., I think he has to file a one-time switch. But going forward, he is a Chilean international when he gets cap tied when they play the World Cup qualifiers.
Okay. All right. The other one was Pizarro. Pizarro season gets even more bizarro now because all of a sudden he has become a force for this team. He picks up 2 goals this week. Now he's out in the All-Star game, all of that. So it's there. Now the cynical one in me, Alex, and forgive me, I've been at this business for 31 years. Trust me, Alex. When you're in the business as long as I've been, you'll be just as cynical. Trust me. So there's a part of me that's thinking, are you trying to showcase him now so you could maybe get rid of him down the line because he's playing really well? Are you convinced he's a fit long term? So let's talk a little bit about the short-term impact he's made and the long-term outlook.
Yeah, I think Rodolfo, I believe he's starting to turn a corner a bit. I know in a couple of pre-match conferences, he's talked about how he needs confidence. He needs people to surround him and give him that extra boost for him to, he's a player that likes to be coddled, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. People like to feel appreciated, and Neville has talked about how highly rated that he rates him and how he's the future of this club. So it's not a shock to see Pizarro's short-term form turn around right in the middle of a playoff race, midpoint of the season. There's literally no better point to get informed than right now. But as far as the long-term implications, I still think that Inter Miami will move him on just solely because of the sanctions. I think that there is a market out there for him. If he does continue to play well, I do think that he'll get moved on just because of it's a money issue, and it's yes, his short term form is good at the moment, but long term, I do think Inter Miami will move him on, and several other players as well, mainly because of the sanctions and mainly because these players are on high wages and they're not producing as much as they should. So I can see Chris Henderson and the club just trying to shift guys like him out of the club, really.
So he's got 3 goals in the last 2 games, correct?
Yes.
So, and Alex, you're so good technically at following the game. Did Neville switch up something with him where they're using him more in an area to score instead of setting people up?
Yeah, on that, I will say, early in the season, Pizarro started on the left-hand side a lot. And, since Robbie's been healthy, that's been his spot. So Rodolfo coming over to the right-hand side and Neville switching to a back 3 with Lewis Morgan as a wing back. Lewis Morgan, he's not necessarily a defensive player. If you look at their average player positions, he was as high as, say, Higuain or Robbie as, one of the 3 forwards up top. So playing that back 3 with Lewis Morgan as a wing back, it allows Pizarro to tuck in, but it doesn't sacrifice the defensive stability of Inter Miami's shape because the team has Leandro Gonzalez-Pirez playing behind those 2, Morgan and Pizarro. So should Pizarro get caught out of position, there is a body back there to help defend. Compare it to the 4-2-3-1 that they were playing early this season. If Pizarro lost the ball at a bad spot, then it would be 1 or 2 guys back there, not scrambling to defend and whatnot. But with this back 3, with Lewis Morgan as a wing back, it gives Inter Miami width, but it doesn't sacrifice their attack. I wish I had a tactical board to show you. It makes sense in my head, but Pizarro is able to cut in a lot more playing on the right hand side, and Morgan's able to push up. And Leandro Gonzalez-Perez is really good at defending, so Morgan and Pizarro can tuck in and push up without sacrificing Miami's shape, really. So it's been beneficial for Pizarro and Robbie and Higuain in terms of offensive, offensive, their offense. Yes.
I got you. Alex Winley joining us, by the way. Alex, when you look at what's gone on in the last week, they took care of business against 2 teams that were very winnable. So you got to give them a lot of credit for these are opportunities, take advantage, and they did that. Are you looking at this as a team that's kind of gritty and things are falling their way? Or is it a team that's kind of found its way and maybe now can actually become a decent team and maybe sneak into the playoffs? How are you viewing this team, or do you need to see more before you make either determination? How about that?
I do think they need to do more. They're definitely a gritty team, but there's always an off chance that the Inter Miami of old will slip back in. We saw it against NYCFC. They went down early and their shoulders were slumped, and they were trying to do too much and not playing as a team. So I think that what this run shows that Inter Miami is capable of pulling off performances, scoring good goals. Scoring late. Just fighting through difficulties, but it's something that they need to keep consistent and something that Neville and his coaching staff need to continue to instill in these guys really because we've seen it. They have the capability of scoring and playing good soccer, but it's good championship winning teams are consistent and they find a way to win. And at this point, Inter Miami need to keep it consistent and keep playing their game, keep playing with that back three to keep it consistent in order to make a playoff get a playoff place and hopefully make a playoff run.
Now, the guy that we have to give a lot of credit to has to be Phil Neville, right? I mean, the coach has found a way to find a role for most of these guys now, and they're playing their best football right now. How much do we credit Neville for everything that's gone on? Because at least for me, I am, but I trust your opinion.
Yeah, I will say that at the beginning of the season, but Neville, he wasn't necessarily my first choice. I know they could have probably gone after other coaches, but he has shown that he is tactically flexible, and he's able to choose a system that suits the player he has at his availability. Last season under Diego Alonso, while the team, they won games 1-0, 2-1, maybe lost games 1-0, 2-1, but there are several periods where the team looked susceptible. They didn't have any bite. They didn't have any fight in them. And with Neville coming in this season, he's instilled a lot of that. He's talked about a lot that those Manchester United Sir Alex Ferguson values about just never quitting. Playing as a team, playing for each other, and it shows what Inter Miami is doing now. So I think I don't think anyone expected Neville to have this big of a turnaround, but you can see in the attitude of the players and their body language that the feel around the training facility, it feels different. You go on game days. I'm looking down from the press box. You see them look differently. The bench, they're all up for it, and yeah, it has a lot to do with Phil Neville and what he's been able to do and instill those Sir Alex Ferguson Manchester United values that Beckham, him and Beckham have, grown up learning basically with the class of '92. So it's good to see, but it's definitely something that Inter Miami needs to continue to do and keep it consistent.
Alex, when we look at the Pizarro situation, the man's on a roll, and listen, I wish him well that he got to go and be part of the All-Star game. How much does that hurt for him for the next game and being prepared and his legs and all that? Because we kind of went through that situation a couple of months ago when he was with the national team and then had to fly back right away and play, and he was kind of out of sync. And it really wasn't his fault, actually. That week he had in practice, he went to Mexico, he comes back, and he was in a difficult situation. They're kind of putting him in another difficult situation now by doing this.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I was a bit shocked that he did get called up to the All-Star team. Besides his 3-goal week that he hasn't had the best season, but in a way, yes, it'll hurt Inter Miami because he's been in good form. He was probably going to start against Orlando this Friday. So, and now Phil Neville potentially loses a player that could have helped Inter Miami in a big way. Yeah, Neville does have Indiana Vasiljev on the bench and Federico Higuain who can fill in the void, but Pizarro is in good form right now, and losing him to All-Star week, it does hurt. But I do think that they'll be able to manage, maybe get a point, maybe a win against Orlando. But yeah, it is unfortunate how I don't know why MLS scheduled games this week. I would have just it would have just been an All-Star week where nothing happens, and I would have continued if I was the commissioner. I would have continued the games next week just to to help teams like Inter Miami, and I know Seattle have a couple of all-stars going as well, so that's going to hurt them too. So it's unfortunate, but it's MLS, and you have to adapt to things like this.
I know, but they're playing well now, and
Yeah.
he's playing well. So it's like, damn, dude, you got to lose, and then we're gonna lose Robbie now down the line for like a month. And we're gonna lose him, right? It's pretty close to a month, right?
Yeah, there's a couple of games that he will miss against FC Cincinnati. Chile have a World Cup qualifier against Brazil. I have to double check that. And the next game against Columbus, Brazil play a couple.
September 2nd, Brazil. September 5th, Ecuador. September 9, Colombia. I do my homework.
Yeah, yeah. So Inter Miami have a couple of games between them, and I do think Robbie will miss the first one, and there's a big potential that he could miss the second one, and that's going to be a huge loss for Inter Miami because he brings a dynamic playing alongside Gonzalo Higuain that Gonzalo's not the quickest, so having Robbie up there, it provides that outlet to just play long balls over the top. So Robbie not being there, it's going to hurt. I think more so than the Pizarro loss. So it's unfortunate, but I'm very happy for Robbie that he got his national team call up, but it'll hurt Neville and his coaching staff.
All right, so tell us a little bit about the Heron Outlet so folks can check you out.
Yeah, the Heron Outlet, me, Austin Robillard, and Ian Hest, we do a podcast every Thursday talking Inter Miami, soccer, world football, Fort Lauderdale CF, Miami FC, whatever your soccer needs are, we discuss it on the pod. You can follow us at the Heron Outlet on Twitter. And yeah, every Thursday we drop an episode, so stay tuned for that.
It's a beautiful thing. And follow her on Twitter at AAW_1998. And you can catch it there at the Heron Outlet. Alex Winley, thank you. As always, you are fantastic. We will catch you next time around, and go Inter. Let's have some fun.
Thank you so much.
You got it. Be good. There you go. Alex Winley, as always, thank you so much. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to talk a little Canes, baby, with Manny Navarro and our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes report.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your Inter Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or intermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All righty. It is time to talk a little Canes and our Caneswear Miami Hurricanes Report. The great Manny Navarro. He is in COVID, what is
quarantine.
It? Quarantine.
Yeah.
But you don't have COVID, right? That's the deal,
I've
right?
tested negative. Yeah. Tested negative.
All right. That's good. There you go. So he is testing negative. So if you see him, don't treat him like he's got the cooties and all that kind of stuff. All right. He is fine. He's all right. He's all good. So I have yet to, that hasn't happened to me yet. Okay. Thank the Lord I haven't even caught the stuff. Right. But I haven't even been like associated with somebody that had COVID, and then I had to go into quarantine, which is all kinds. Now it does help to stay at home a hell of a lot. You know what I'm saying? And watch everything on television and all that. I mean, the other day, dude, when I went to the Green Day concert, I was double masked and I was paranoid as hell. And I was trying to stay away from human beings as much as possible. So it's man, it's just it F's with your mind, dude.
Well, I don't mind sharing the story now of what happened, but basically what happened was my kids started school last week, and unfortunately this happens all the time. Oh, you have kids. Parents send their kids sick to school, and so this kid had a runny nose, a cough, and first day of school last Wednesday here in Broward County. He goes 2 days in a row, and the teacher's like, hey, why do I have this sick kid in my class? She sends them to the doctor's office there in the school, the nurse, and they send the kid home. Later that night, the school gets a phone call. Oh, by the way, he tested positive for COVID-19. First grade kid. And so the entire class was exposed to him for 48 hours or however long they were in class over those 2 days. And so Friday we get a phone call. Hey, come pick your kids up. They've all been exposed. And
Wow.
so, yeah. My youngest.
Did your kids test positive?
My youngest did. The one that was in the class. She tested positive.
Now, just out of curiosity, was she close to him, sitting close?
We have no idea. They won't give us any information.
She won't tell you? Your daughter
Well, she
won't
has
tell
no
you?
idea who it was. She's 6.
Oh,
so,
because of the whole HIPAA thing, they don't even tell you what kid it is.
No.
Oh, wait a minute. She could do the math. She can tell. Oh, no, because you're all gone. That's right. You didn't.
And
It's not
she
like
just
you
met these
return
kids.
the next day and then somebody's missing. Oh, okay, that's right.
You get
That's
it?
right.
And she was just in that class, so it's not like she familiarized herself with everybody. It was the first week of school last week. So,
Right.
And she's 6, so it's different. If she was 10, 12, 14, she'd know. But
Right. Yeah. Oh, man, that's the world we live in, dude. And I'm almost terrified that, and I know that they're trying to avoid this because obviously it's been something negative on kids having to be at home to do all this stuff. But I almost fear that that if this thing continues to escalate, they're going to send kids home and everybody's going to have to do the virtual thing all over again, which is tough on everybody.
Here's the big thing, and how we tie it back into sports. You mentioned going to the concert and, standing away from everybody, right?
Yeah.
These stadiums are going to be full again.
I know.
And how many people who are sick going to make the decision, you know what? I don't feel too good today. I'm going to stay home. I might have COVID. Or did they spend $200 on tickets and whatever else, and they're going to go. So
a little whiskey, and I'll feel better, and I'm going.
Right.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. No, it's well, at least you're in the press box.
Correct.
That's the good thing.
Well, and we have to go through all kinds of protocols too. We got to fill out, hey, were you exposed to anybody? We get our fever, our temperature check, see if we have a fever.
Right.
So we go through the whole gauntlet anyway, but the general public, good luck.
Yeah. And you see what the NFL's doing. You want to cover the NFL, you better be vaccinated. Or if not, you can't cover the NFL.
Yep.
I have a friend of mine he's really an anti-vaxxer. He's one of my better friends. And he's in the business. And the only reason he ended up getting the vaccine was because the NFL told him, you want to work, dude? Then you better get the vaccine, or you're not coming into any of our properties. I don't know if any of you know this. I don't even know if it's public. Is that public that the NFL is requiring anybody associated or covering or what? I know I had to show my vaccination card the other day when I went to camp. I had to take a picture of it and send it to them to prove that I was vaccinated.
Right. No, I mean, I don't know if it's public. I don't know if everybody cares. They're just like, oh, the reporters, who cares about them? But it's the reality.
Yeah. No, but it's not just reporters. It's anybody associated. If you're working an NFL game,
right,
you must be. I don't care if you're the ball boy. I don't care if you're taking out the trash, whatever. If you're associated with the NFL and working with the NFL, they will not allow you on their properties without being vaccinated.
Well,
So
it's a good rule. I think
they're not doing that with you guys, right? Not yet.
Not with college football. We haven't come across that yet. But I know that there are schools, as far as home games, that are requiring, to show negative test before you're allowed in the stadium. So, but that's not a universal thing across the country.
Sorry, NFL, if I let the cat out of the bag. Anyway, all right, let's get to the other ugly stuff going on, and I find this pretty sick and twisted. And this is the Avante Williams situation, which I don't believe a goddamn thing in that story. I think that woman is defending him because whatever, she's looking for a free ride from him. Eventually, she's got his kid. And then, the fact that Manny says they're looking it over. I get it, dude. He's his seat ain't hot because they're not going to fire him, but he's got to be feeling uncomfortable a little bit because he's got to know that he's underachieved the last 2 years and he's desperate to achieve and have success and convince everybody that he's the guy. Are they really considering keeping this kid because they're so desperate to win? I just find it to be such a bad look to bring this guy back, and especially the way the story is and the way this girl has come out to now practically lie about her injuries. I get it. I know I'm not supposed to say she's lying and all that good stuff, but come on, dude. I'm not here to BS people. And if we have some common sense, we know what the hell went on here. So how is the University of Miami going to handle this? And how could they actually even believe any of this story?
Yeah, listen, when this first happened, I basically was told there was no way he was coming back. And so that was not through Manny Diaz per se, but certainly people on his staff, players. They didn't think he'd ever get a second chance at Miami. So, I know in the end, Manny has sort of said, hey, this is a school decision. It's not his per se, but, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't know. I think the fact that they haven't said no is a big deal. Had Manny come out from the very beginning and said, there's no way we're taking him back, that would be one thing, but they're obviously entertaining it. And I think if his lawyer does a good enough job convincing whoever he needs to convince at Miami that this didn't happen, then they might actually take him back. But my guess is
first of all, when it's a lawyer talking to you, it's
right.
over already. I mean, give me a
Right.
break. And
Right.
there ain't
Well,
a bit of truth coming out of a lawyer's mouth. Come on.
Oh, of course. But again, you never know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I wish I had an answer. But I don't know who's really weighing the decision. I don't know if this is Blake James. I don't know if this is the board of trustees. I know that in the past, issues like Willie Williams back in the day when he got arrested and the whole situation there, they did have everybody weigh in on
You know how many months of my life I lost on the radio talking about that kid over and over and over and every day, and Willie Williams and Willie Williams and Willie. And you know what? I was one of those guys that I didn't mind giving him the chance early on, but then you got burned. You know what I mean? When it's all said and done. And let me tell you something, the gall of that kid on that video to say, well, hopefully the University of Miami will do the right thing and reinstate me. I'm like, hey, que fresco el tipo este, bro.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? It's like, what are you crazy? What do you mean the right thing? The right thing would have been for you not to abuse a woman. That would have been the right thing. And you wouldn't be in this trouble. You know what I mean? It's just like, wow, dude. I saw that and it's like, come on, man.
Oh, look, domestic violence issues are messy. We've seen it in the NFL. We've seen guys' careers end right the moment they were caught on video doing anything. In this case, Avante Williams wasn't caught on video, and there were no eyewitnesses, so we don't know for sure, if this wasn't just a good old-fashioned fight between two people, or if he physically assaulted her and completely dominated her, or what the situation was. But we know this: the state attorney's office didn't proceed. And now the Miami Hurricanes have a messed up situation to deal with.
Yeah. So do you bring them back and then use the technicality as the excuse? That's the thing.
Well,
and it's such a bad look overall. Right. I think for me, man, I get it. You're desperate to win, but if you're the upper echelon of the University of Miami, I'm not the coaching staff, you got to say, okay, what kind of message does this send? Because most people with common sense are not believing Avante Williams one damn bit and the whole situation. They're just not going to believe him. You know what I mean? And that's the problem there, that the perception is going to overtake as the reality. And so then this is what you're going to carry from here on out. That's a bad message, man. That's just me.
Well, I think, here's the deal. He could go somewhere else, become a star, which he probably will, get drafted in the first or second round. And what'll happen is only the people down here who know the Hurricanes will know the story. So he can go to Oregon, he can go to Cal, he can go wherever, and nobody's going to know the story after the first week. They're going to forget when he's out there, blowing guys up in the secondary and picking off passes, and it's going to be over.
Right. No, you're 1,000% right. Yeah. I can't argue with that one. All right. Scrimmage dirt, bro. Come on. Give me some scrimmage dirt. Manny came out and talked about it and all that, but we can't believe the coach. They're not going to tell us the real the real bad stuff that may have happened, the stuff that he's unhappy with. He'll tell you a couple of obvious things. What are you hearing now? You've had several days to unearth some info.
Well, first of all, De'Ara King played 4 series. And so they basically put the backups in, and those are the guys who ran the first team after that. So we're told that the defense played a lot better. I tend to think that's because De'Ara King was on the sideline, right?
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two, Nessa Severo was back, which is a good sign because they need him. Okay. He's their best defensive lineman. And you could tell there was a difference. They were getting more pressure on the quarterback, is what I was told. They got 4 sacks in the scrimmage. Obviously, it helps not having to chase De'Ara King, and it's a little easier to bring down Tyler Van Dyke and Jake Garcia. But that said, they did get more pressure on the quarterback, and from what I understand, they did a better job against the run. But listen, man, the Miami offensive line, I know everybody's like, oh, this second most returning starts in the country. I'd still take Alabama's offensive line over Miami's offensive line every day of the week and Sundays. So I think, this challenge, the first one, we'll see how much better they've really gotten at defending the run. Manny Diaz swears that they have. His coaches swear that they have. I like the fact they have 4 returning defensive tackles who have played. But, those defensive ends, they've got to set the edge, and then you need the linebackers to actually wrap up and tackle. And I don't know that, that they really have a beast back there right now at linebacker. I mean, Keontra Smith, we've heard he's had a great camp. Manny Diaz is calling him K4 by his little nickname. So, obviously he's doing well if Manny's calling him K4 rather. But he's 5'11", 215 pounds, and he's not going to play the whole game. He can't. He's not going to be able to take that licking the whole game. So you're going to see, the same guys we saw last year that got run over by North Carolina. You're going to see those guys out there. Bradley Jennings, Wayman Steed, Corey Flagg Jr. They're not fast linebackers. Avery Huff, Sam Brooks Jr. Those are supposed to be the fast linebackers. We've heard next to nothing about Avery Huff, and Sam Brooks Jr. has been hurt coming back from a toe injury. So you tell me, going into the opener, do you feel good about Miami's run defense based on everything I just told you?
No, I unfortunately, my brother, I don't feel good about Miami, period, because of Manny Diaz is the reason why I don't feel good. And by the way, you would not only take the Alabama offensive line, everything about Alabama is better than Miami. The only advantage that Miami has is Coral Gables to Tuscaloosa. That's it. That's where the advantage ends. The beautiful city of Coral Gables, and nothing against Tuscaloosa, but just something tells me that Tuscaloosa isn't nearly as nice as Coral Gables. That's all I'm saying. I'm just going to go out on that limb and say Coral Gables is a nicer city than Tuscaloosa. That's where the advantages end. And
one thing you could say is that the employees at Alabama make more money than the employees down here. So,
by the way, that was a very depressing breakdown on your part.
I apologize. I didn't mean to shatter everybody's heart there, but I just bring a case of realism with me every time on your show.
I know, and I appreciate it. And what did you last say there? Because I was talking over you right now before.
No, I was just saying, I'm sure everybody in Alabama gets paid more than the guys down here in Miami. So that's the difference.
Yes. Yeah. I would just love to compare the Alabama facility to the Miami Dolphins' new facility. And that would be the real challenge to see which one's better, because I would not be surprised if Alabama's still better than what Miami just built there in Miami Gardens. You know what I'm saying? Yep. It's crazy stuff. All right. So I know you've been asked this before, but I don't even I know it's kind of an unfair question in a way to ask you, because you really aren't going to know. How close is De'Ara King to 100% in your eyes? Because like you and I have been covering sports for a long time, and we know that most of these cats, whenever they get injured, they're really not the 100% till the second year as it is. I'm saying, look at Tua right now. Tua wasn't 100% last year playing with that hip. You look at him now, and he looks like a completely different person because he's 100%. So really, where is De'Aaron King from a surgery that's not even a year removed?
Yeah, that's a great question. No, I don't have the answer other than to tell you that I know the guy has worked his ass off. I know that he's done everything asked of him to be ready. I know that he's looked like De'Aaron King in practice. But you don't know until you get hit. You don't know until you're out there in the game and you've got to make a decision. Hey, am I going to take off and run for my life here? Or am I just going to take the sack and fall? We will know if De'Aaron King is De'Aaron King on September 4th. And, the kid plays with a ton of heart. I know that he's going to go out there and he's not going to play scared because that's just not who he is. But let's face it, you're only as good as your body, right? And at any point, his body can break down. And we know that people who have ACL injuries are more prone to have another ACL injury than the non-guy. So, it's something that's going to be in the back of everybody's head, and we won't know for real until September 4th. And I think, as far as everything else, as far as him being dedicated to get himself 100%, I can guarantee you he's done that. He's done everything asked of him and more to be ready for this moment because he cares. He wants to win and he wants to get drafted. He wants to show people, hey, I can do this against Alabama. Give me a shot to play quarterback, even though we all know it probably won't happen. So to me, the kid isn't the issue. It's his body, and we won't know that until September 4th.
Yeah, the other thing, because, I hear, oh, well, he ran 20 miles an hour straight or whatever, all this stuff.
Right.
But it's anybody that's come back from a knee, everybody tells you the straight stuff is not a problem. Eventually, you have a lot of confidence doing that. It's the cutting.
Mm-hmm.
That's the challenge when you come back from a knee surgery is that cut. Are you able to make those same kind of movements? And for a guy like him, he's going to need to be able to cut to try to dodge tacklers at times and things like that. So that's what I worry about with De'Aaron. And I wonder how much cutting he's been doing to obviously get the kind of confidence he needs to take on freaking Alabama, bro.
Well, he's done it. He's done it in practice. He did it the first day, and he talked about it. I have a story on theathletic.com about it. But essentially, he feels like himself. He doesn't feel scared to cut on the knee. And, again, like you said, straight line running, cutting, those are two entirely different things. And, we won't know until he's in the middle of the game when you're playing in a game speed how reliable that knee is. So, I think he's going to run less. I think if he's smart, he's going to run less. I think he's going to slide more. I think you're going to see him, run out of bounds. You're going to see him throw the ball away. He led the team in carries last year. Oh, I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, because it was one of those stats. Yeah, that unless you sit there and you look at it, you're like, wow, wait, Cam Harris, what? He had 4 more carries than Cam Harris. So I think he's going to cut down the number of times he takes off and runs. But again, what makes him what he is his speed and his talent. And he's going to have to show that to NFL teams if he's going to get drafted.
All right. We know that De'Aaron King is the most important factor for this team. He goes down, season over, you're done. What's the second most important factor for the Canes to have success this year behind De'Aaron King? Who is it? What group is it? What situation is it? I don't know. You point at it. Second most important thing that must stay on the field or must be a part of the team besides De'Aaron King.
Yeah, I think they're going to need their health on the defensive line because I think they are too deep, but it's sort of like a group of 8 players. And the moment you lose somebody, all of a sudden everybody else has to play a lot more and they're going to be exhausted and exposed. I think it's the health of the defensive line because that group collectively together, I think can be as good as what they got last year out of Jalen Phillips and Quincy Roche, but they have to be together. Individually, they don't cut it. Jafar Harvey, he's going to be a guy that everybody looks at and says, okay, he's the future, right? He's the guy who's supposed to be the next stud. He hasn't done a whole lot in camp as far as, hearing the coaches brag about him. So I think they're going to need DeAndre Johnson, Zach McLeod, and Chance Williams, those 4 defensive ends, to stay healthy all year and productive together because I don't think they have an elite pass rusher right now.
Crazy stuff. All right, one more thing before I let you go. I'm a big fan of the kid. He fell in the draft. I kind of compare him to Chris Jones from Kansas City. I think he's a big, immovable force that is going to put pressure on people. And while it means jack shit right now, okay, let's be honest, because it's only preseason, but Greg Rousseau has 2 sacks already. And, Phillips has already dealt with an injury, hasn't played as much. And I'm not saying Jalen Phillips is a bust or anything like that, but are you surprised with Greg Rousseau? Where were you with Greg Rousseau? Because this is a guy you covered. And for me, I was a big fan of his going to the next level because I think he's the kind of guy that becomes a disruptive mofo on the D-line, kind of like Jones. I think he can turn into a Chris Jones type. Your thoughts on Rousseau so far?
Yeah, I think they're both studs. Jalen, to me, was the risk factor, right? The injuries, the concussion history. He's the guy who I think
high risk, high reward is what you're saying.
High risk, high reward, right? But Rousseau, that length that he has, you can't teach that. That's just physical gift. And he is so good when you move him inside, beating slower, less athletic guards and centers to the quarterback. He just knows how to beat people inside. I think he's going to be a beast in the NFL. I think he's going to be a Pro Bowler, multi-time guy. He's going to take over sort of Calais Campbell carrying the flag for Miami Hurricanes football. And the Bills, he's on a great team.
Do you see him like Chris Jones, like I do? The kid.
Yeah, I see a comparison. Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I think again, he's a 2, 3, 4-time Pro Bowler, a guy who is a consistent NFL starter who is productive year in and year out, and he's on a great team. The Bills are a great team. He's got a lot of help around him. I think he's going to have a chance to really shine in Buffalo.
Good stuff as always. What are you working on The Athletic, my brother, so Canes fans can check you out?
Yeah, well, I got another essay coming. The Athletic asked me to write an essay heading into college football, and I'm going to write about this little personal experience that I had with COVID here and parents taking their kids to school. I'm hoping fans do the right thing. And when they're sick, stay home. Don't go to the game because you're going to get a bunch of people around you sick.
Yeah, no, I know. But some of the folks that are anti-vaxxers and all that, they don't take it serious. And so they think, it's no big deal. You'll survive. I'll survive. Meanwhile, like there's body bags loaded up in every hospital out there. Which is crazy. And even younger people are dying right now, man. The saddest part is watching all those stories of all the people that weren't believers, and then now they became believers. And I'm not talking about Justin Bieber believers. I'm talking about believers of the damn virus. And now they're going, oh, my God, I wish I would have gotten the shot. I wish I would have gotten the shot for my husband, my daughter, my wife, whatever, because one of their family members is dying. And it's a real shame, man. It's just happening way too much right now. Manny, as always, my brother, thank you for taking some time. Enjoy the week, my friend. We will catch up on Friday.
Good talking to you. See you then.
You got it. The great Manny Navarro.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5590. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchased with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All righty, welcome back. I had to go to the little boys' room there, so we're all good. We're ready to go. We thank Manny Navarro for joining us here on the program and giving us a little insight on the Canes. If you want to get in on the program, you can reach out to us on email, bigoradioshow@yahoo.com, Twitter, Big O Show, YouTube, of course. Please share the link, smash the like button. Very important to smash the like button. It's extremely important you do that. And, of course, Cash App or Venmo if you want to support our show. Cash Big O Show is the address. Cash Big O Show. Our thoughts and prayers go to Stones drummer Charlie Watts. He has passed away at the age of 80, and he was bowing out from this last tour, unfortunately, and obviously he had an issue that he could not survive. 80 is not too bad, ladies and gentlemen. It's not too bad. Rest in peace, Charlie Watts, man. It's amazing that that man was able to do it. And I hate to say it this way, but are we surprised that the Stones are doing it until they die? Right? I mean, it's like they don't stop, dude. It's amazing. I mean, Mick Jagger is freaking amazing how he just continues. And poor Charlie Watts, obviously, physically, he could not hold up. And to hear the news that he passed away, sad news, man. Sad news, but 80 years old. Damn. Covey X on Twitter says, I love Big O Show. However, I can't believe he said Albert Wilson is not making the team on his radio show. Did he witness the Chicago game of 2019? He's a game breaker, maybe the best receiver on the team. Oh, wow. I did not know that Albert Wilson belongs in the Ring of Honor. Oh, God. Some of you are making Albert Wilson sound like he's Mark Duper. Let me explain again. He's 29. He's been unreliable in the last couple of years from injury to bowing out for COVID. He hasn't caught more than 400 and something yards in a season. It's like 700 and something in the last 2 years for the Dolphins. He's never had more than 4 touchdowns in a season, and he's the best receiver on the team? I mean, think about this. If he talks up Albert Wilson that much, what's he saying about Will Fuller, who's actually, like, legitimately accomplished? Holy crap. Wow, I did not see that one coming. But hey, listen, some of you out there, you're in love with Albert Wilson. Some folks fall in love with a stripper. Some of you fall in love with Albert Wilson. That's just the way it is. Now what we need is a rapper to make a song about falling in love with Albert Wilson. That's all we need right now. Right? Falling in love with a stripper, falling in love with Albert Wilson. That's the deal right there. I love it, man. I love it. That is fantastic. Oh, wow. Can't beat that. Yeah, and I love the extremes, right? Because like Noah Igbenogamy is like dog crap right now, and he's a failure, and it's over, right? We had the same thing with Tua. Oh, he's a bust. He's short. He doesn't have a strong arm. This and that. Most of those people are shutting the hell up now because they're watching him play, and they're like, "Yeah, I might have jumped the gun." Same thing with Gesicki, right? Can you imagine if Jamar Chase was the pick and not Jalen Waddle? Jamar Chase is dropping more balls right now than anyone else in the NFL. Now, the kid was off last year. And listen, it's not to make an excuse for him because I think he's going to be a baller when it's all said and done, but he's going through, some rookie issues right now. And who knows, a drop or two. It's kind of like when you watch somebody do a broadcast and then they make one mistake, and then that one mistake just kind of trips them up, and it just compounds the problem, and they keep making mistakes, those kind of things. And I think that's what's going on with Jamar. Drop, you kind of your confidence gets hurt a little bit. Maybe you hear some fans boo this and that, and then you're kind of uneasy, and then you drop a couple more, and you're at the elite level right now, which is something new for Jamar Chase. He'll figure it out and all that, but I was tripping out because if Jamar Chase was here and he would have dropped the balls he's dropped in Cincinnati, I would be taking the text already that Jamar Chase is a bust. Fire Chris Greer. How in the hell could he have drafted Jamar Chase? What the hell was he thinking? Look at the guy always, dropping passes. What the hell is wrong with him? That kind of stuff. It would have happened. Guaranteed. And Devonta Smith hasn't necessarily been, Mr. Consistency over there in Philadelphia either. But again, rookie receivers, man, they're going to go through ups and downs. Now, Jalen Waddle will be fine. Devonta Smith will be fine. Jamar Chase will be fine. They're all supremely gifted. They're all talented. They're just young. That's all. But I found it funny that all the Jamar Chase stuff is going on, and it's a subject over there for Cincinnati fans. But I know that here in Miami, we would have been, well, not me, but some of you out there would have already been roasting the kid. And we go to one extreme to another, right? My man Covey X here, he's got Albert Wilson in the Ring of Honor, the best receiver on the team. The guy's the second coming. Give him a 10-year contract. What the hell are we doing? What is wrong with you? Oh, you idiot. Don't you know Albert Wilson's a monster? So we got Covey saying that, right? And then we got, of course, the other extreme. Noah's a bust. It's over. He can't get it done. That's it. We had Tua there. We had Gesicki there after his first year. You know how many people gave up on Gesicki after his first year? At least some of you over the last couple of days or week, some of you have actually reached out to me and said, yo, man, I was one of those. I gave up on Gesicki. And I was wrong. Happened a couple of times. I was kind of impressed. And a couple of people actually were, they came clean about that. Jamar Chase dropping everything in sight. Oh, poor kid. Poor kid. Oh, I got to send you the pic of me and my wife with the Rolling Stones. Well, send it, man. Send it. They made you look young, didn't they? Adrian Gonzalez says, we will be fine without Wilson. Hey, maybe they're right. Maybe Wilson is the second coming. Maybe he's going to the Ring of Honor. You never know. Anthony says, love the show. Anthony, I love you. Okay? I love you for tuning in, for subscribing, for supporting. I love every one of you right now that are watching. I love every one of you that are downloading the podcast and listening. I thank you all so much. Incredibly blessed to have your support. Akaris one says some Albert Wilson slander going on here. Super Boom Shack says, Jakeem Grant approves O's tweet. Super Boom Shack says, maybe Chase worked out with Jakeem in the offseason. That's fantastic. Let me live in peace, says Tua is going to be Tom Brady 2.0. I like it. Tom Brady 2.0. Falling in love with Al Wilson is just like I fell in love with Joe Philbin. Let's see. Oh, I already gave up on Austin Jackson. Hello. Yep. We got plenty of folks already gave up on Austin Jackson. Big ol' Albert Wilson is so good, you should dedicate an entire segment to his name. Not telling you what to do, but I think Albert makes the team, though. Well, we have already, right? The segment's kind of been dedicated to him already as it is. And listen, you guys may be 1,000% right that he's going to make the team. I mean, it's not like I get everything right or anything like that. I'm just, I have a hard time putting my faith in somebody that has never, ever produced anything. Just a guy that's shown you a couple flashes in his career. Never had a career season, ever. And lately, he gets injured. I just, got a problem with that. And this love affair after, 10 practices in shorts, come on, man. Does nothing for me. Oh, need a blind-ass fan alert for the people who think Wilson is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Well, you asked for it.
Blind-ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind-ass fan coming through.
You asked for it, you got it, Toyota. That's it. You know what I'm going to do with that? We're going to make a video of the blind-ass fan alert. We need to do that. I got to talk to Sean. So that way people will hear it on the podcast, obviously. So it's both. And then visually you can watch it on YouTube for those that are, always watching the show. And I appreciate all of you out there. We got to do that. A. Rios says Tua equals Drew Brees. I like it. Except for Rios, I don't want the first 3 seasons of Drew Brees. Get me season 4 and on with Tua. So this season will be season 4 for Brees and on. There we go. And one more thing. I want Tua to bring us more than just one title. Okay? Sorry, I got to get greedy. The world is mine. Brett Dodger says, let's go with Tua being Tua 1.0. There we go. Peister83 says, whoever gave the 3 thumbs down sucks. Well, you know what? They probably are pissed off with my Albert Wilson take or my, the Avante Williams. Guaranteed it's a couple of those folks that are pissed off with the Avante Williams thing. Hey, listen, man, you're going to piss some people off when you do this stuff. Let's see. Anthony Antone says, I think Tua ends up with more rings than Mahomes. Ooh, Anthony, I like that, dude. I like that. Now, Anthony, I want you to mark that down and save that. Because if Tua produces more Super Bowls than Mahomes, I'm going to take you to dinner at NYY Steak up in Pompano. Okay, because I love going to that restaurant. I'm not a Yankees guy, but I do love that restaurant. It's a fun restaurant to go to. So, Anthony, when Tua overtakes Mahomes, you need to contact me, and we are going to go together to NYY Steak, and it's on me, Bubba. All right? I'm going to treat you to a steak. Plus, I got to go. I haven't gone in a while. I haven't used my knife. I've got my own knife over there too, man. It's there it's in the glass case. When you go in, there's all kinds of knives, and you'll see mine there with the names engraved in it and all that. So that's my personal knife when I go have dinner at NYY Steak. Love that place. Really good place, man. Thumbs down are from QAM interns. Brother, they don't even have interns there. And they don't have many people left to interview, too, locally. Let's see. People give time. Like Big O said, Wake had to go to the CFL before coming back and being great. Yes, sir, Michael. Martin Leiden says, was always in on Tua. He's our QB. I was so happy when he was drafted. I cried like a baby. Now back off the kid and let him show you how good he is. Amen. End of sermon. Love you guys. Thank you, Martin. It's all right, bro. Tua's going to ball out, man. I'm not worried about it at all. Tua's going to be a hell of a player, and we're going to enjoy it. Troy says, I think we keep 8 receivers and 3 running backs. We can put Dokes on the practice squad. Yeah, Dokes is a practice squad guy. Man, 8 receivers? Really? I just can't see them keeping that much. I think it's 6, maybe 7. Maybe 7. And I can see Wilson making it the first week while Fuller's out. And then after they trade him or cut him or whatever. Who was worse, Philbin or Cameron? Does it really matter? Does it really matter? Right? Oh, I got your... No, wait a minute. I'm sorry. There's an answer to that. We only had to put up with Cam Cameron's ass for 1 season. We had to put up with Joe Philbin for like 4. Philbin. You know what it is to keep that bum around for 4 years? We have Uncle Fester walking the sidelines? Are you kidding me? Larry Coker's lost cousin hanging out on the sidelines? Get the hell out of here. Picking up paper, winning meaningless games against the Vikings. Definitely Joe Philbin. I mean, Cam Cameron's sorry ass was only around for 1 year to torture us. Philbin was around way too long. He was around 1 game too many. Definitely Philbin. Definitely. Kenneth Cleveland says, good afternoon, Big O. Live from the Boom Boom Room. I like it. You know, you told my buddy the same thing, and he said Williams needs to be cut before Wilson because Williams. Williams, because Wilson is more explosive, and he also hits me with Williams can't stay healthy either. Yeah, he's right about Williams not being able to stay healthy. You can't argue with that. That's happened. Daniel Grafton says, I'll take you to a steakhouse in 20 years. LOL. So you think it's a promise I'll never live up to? Okay, I got you. Oh, I will treat you to corn dogs at the Pensacola Fairgrounds if you stop by for the Senior Bowl. Well, I'm definitely going to stop by for the Senior Bowl this year, for sure. As long as we have a Senior Bowl and I have access to people, I'll be there. And Super Boom Shack wants to remind everybody to fail forward fast. That's very good. Oh, would you buy crypto on the Venmo app? No, because you don't own the crypto. They're not going to give you keys. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, when you go to crypto.com or Binance or Coinbase and you sign on, they give you keys. The keys are 12 words. And make sure you copy those 12 words and you save them somewhere, because if you ever lose your password or anything like that, those 12 words are going to save your ass and keep all your finances. You got that? So make sure you save those 12 words. Those things are the most important thing. But if you buy it on Venmo or PayPal or whatever, they're not going to give you keys to your crypto, so you don't own it. So don't ever do that. Go open account at crypto.com. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to post a $25 a discount, a $25 US bonus. So if you sign up to crypto.com, you'll get $25 and I'll get $25. So we'll do both. So that way it helps you, and you can open it up at crypto.com or open it up or go to Binance or go to Coinbase or whatever, Coinbase Pro, whatever you want, but do not Do not buy your crypto on PayPal, on Venmo. Don't even buy it on Weeble. Don't buy it. Certainly don't buy it on Robinhood. You don't own that crypto. They own the crypto. The only way you get to get rid of it is by selling it. You can't move it over. So if you want to hold it long term and continue leaving it to grow, you will not own it. You should buy crypto only on websites that will give you the keys so you own the crypto and you can move it to whatever you want. Okay? So if you want to move it to cold storage in a wallet, you do it. Please don't buy crypto on Venmo or PayPal or any of those places. I'm telling you. It's not the right move. And don't do it on Robinhood or Weeble or any of those places also. It doesn't make any sense. Go to a place where you actually own the crypto, because you might end up buying something that's Amazon or Tesla or Microsoft. You know what I'm saying? You might end up, because I think Ethereum is that. I think Cardano is that. That's why when people tell you, well, when the bull run ends in the next 6 months or a year or whatever, we're going to have a downturn in the crypto market. And I believe that, yeah, you'll have some downturns, but I don't believe every coin will be on a downturn, a lot like the stock market. I think the quality coins, which kind of like the stock market, yeah, they could fluctuate a little bit, but they're not going to crash like others could with lesser companies. Amazon's going to hold up no matter what. Most of those badass companies that you have, they might fluctuate a little bit, but they're not going to crash like your other stocks will. I think crypto's going in that direction too. And there's a couple of companies that, to me, not a financial advisor, I'm not telling you what to do with your money. I'm telling you what I'm doing with my money. I feel things like Ethereum and Cardano are can't miss things. And I think they will end up becoming those amazing stocks that people own. And, they bought it, Apple, early, and now it's, obviously through the roof, and they're making a boatload of money. That kind of stuff, I think, is going to end up happening. So if you end up buying it in some of these places where you don't own it, then you're kind of tied to them. And that's the only way. And what if you want to pass it on to a loved one, to your son, your daughter, whatever it is? Like, I'm sure a lot of people who have, something worth in stock, and they're kind of, checking out soon. They're like, okay, well, look, here's my 100,000 in Microsoft, and it's all yours. And you can, take care of you for the rest of your life or whatever, that kind of stuff. I wouldn't buy anything with the name Rob and Hood. Okay. All right. I got you, Drago. I got the play on words. Flood says, R.I.P. Charlie Watts. Kenneth says, Big O, steak night at the Boom Boom Room, VIP. You're being served by the lovely ladies, Hallie, Selma, Sophia, Paige, Charlize, and Beyonce. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Big O not asking for financial advice, but if you're 22 years old, you need to start securing my financial future. What would you invest if you had $5,000 to invest? I talked about this the other day. Now they're on parabolic runs now. It's not the best time to get in, but I don't think you can lose when it's all said and done. I would put 40% in Ethereum, 35% in Cardano, and 25% in Bitcoin. Somebody asked me that the other day, and I'm pretty sure I gave them the exact same answer. 40% Ethereum, 35% Cardano, and 25% Bitcoin. That's what I'd keep it nice and simple. For me, those are three can't miss coins. Those are companies that are going to be around forever. I love VeChain also, which VeChain is probably the best bargain. And right now, actually, there's a dip in the market. Now that I think about it, there's actually a dip in the market right now. So you're actually picking a decent time to kind of pop in and make a move. Bitcoin is down to 48,577. It was at 50,000. So it's going to go back and pass 50,000 soon. Ethereum was at 3,300 plus, 3,350, 3,370. It's at 3,216, and it's starting to go up a little bit. And Cardano was at 296, 298. It's at 276. So, you know what? A little bit of consolidation never hurt anybody. That's what I would do right there. Not that I'm a financial advisor, not that I'm a genius or anything like that. I'm just telling you. That's all. That's what I would do. 40% Ethereum, 35% Cardano, and 25% Bitcoin. Got it? Get it? Good. Love it. Let's see. What else do we have here on the program? What else did I wanted to talk about? Oh, I got to talk about Sha'Carri Richardson. And I got to tell you something. Man, did I lose a ton of respect for Sha'Carri Richardson. You know, she went through that whole thing of being, busted for weed, and she got suspended, and it was part of that. Those are the rules. Those are the rules. And I was defending her in the sense of, it's kind of silly that we're still testing for that kind of stuff because that's not enhancing anybody whatsoever. And then on top of all of that, I was very impressed with the way she took responsibility for her actions. She didn't make excuses or anything like that. She goes, hey, man, I effed up, basically. She didn't say effed up, but she basically said, hey, I effed up. It was my fault. I know what I was not supposed to do, and I did it, and it's my fault. It was some edible she had or whatever. And to me, it's ridiculous that WADA is testing for that. Weed is better than any drug you're going to take for pain or whatever it is, or sleeping agent or whatever. And it certainly isn't an enhancer. Okay. And if she's training and she's a little sore and she'd rather do that than hard drugs, hey, man, I have no problem with it. Okay. Now, she just participated in the Fontaine Classic, in the Prefontaine Classic, and she ended up in last place. So after all the hype and people came out of the woodwork to defend her and all of that, I think Sha'Carri read the headlines too much. I think Sha'Carri enjoyed too much of the spotlight, and she probably got a little fat on the spotlight, not body. Okay. That's not why she lost. She was in great shape. But what I mean is the head got fat. You know what I'm saying? And she looked terrible. She was last. Now, here's where I completely lost it with Sha'Carri Richardson, and I am not ever going to support her again, and I am not even going to root for her ass. Any other American on the track and field, on the track with her, I'll be rooting for the other American that's on there. So she ends up in last place. The Jamaican girl that wins, Shelly Ann Frazier, everybody is congratulating her. Sha'Carri walks completely off the track and it looked like it was a friend or a boyfriend or maybe a male track star or whatever put her arm around her to help guide her out. And she was all like, wasn't having any of this, right? And everybody else was kind of congratulating the Jamaican lady who was freaking awesome. I mean, she tore it up. In fact, I think her teammate was second also, if I'm correct. And you do the classy thing that if you lose, you congratulate the winner. Doesn't matter who you are. But she was too lost in her last place finish. And then she does an embarrassing interview after where she's cussing and all this stuff and, like going after doubters and haters. And instead of going after any doubters or haters at that moment, which they haven't started doubting you or hating you yet, you just lost, handle it with class. And she failed. She handled everything when she failed the drug test with class. This, dude, she couldn't have been worse. And then there was somebody put out a social media post with Shelly Ann Frazier and Lil Wayne, and saying that she looks like Lil Wayne. So then Sha'Carri Richardson goes and likes the social media post. So then she takes a shot at the Jamaican girl that won. I don't know what happened to this girl. And maybe what we saw when she failed was that was the phony one. And now this is the real one. But you couldn't have mishandled the situation more than Sha'Carri Richardson. That's one person I will not be rooting for. I don't give a crap that she's wearing an American flag. I'll be rooting for the other. You know what it is, man? It's tough enough for women in this world as it is. And so you got one woman slamming another and saying she looks like Lil Wayne. I mean, come on, man. Right? You know, the idea is show some class and help each other and raise the image of everybody in the process. Not do petty ass crap like that. Sad, man. Really sad on Sha'Carri's part. She just completely mishandled all of that, dude. What a shame. What a real shame. I believe she was really on PDs and not weed, but that's a story for another day. She didn't fail for PDs. Dude, this is Olympics. This is WADA. If she's on juice, they would have busted her with juice, bro. Come on. Let's go. Come on, enough of the, Oliver Stone stuff. Enough of the, what's the name of those idiots? Those idiots that think like actors are eating babies and all that. What's the name of that group that they QAnon? Come on, bro. Enough of the QAnon crap. All right. WADA is pretty good at testing and they bust your ass. So if it was PDs, they would have gladly actually mentioned PDs instead of weed. Come on, man. Let's blame her for something she actually did. Let's not try to create something that wasn't part of the story. We don't need any extra drama. Sha'Carri's at it all. Okay? She's done it all by herself. We don't need to make anything up. She's the one liking the social media post of making fun of the Jamaican racer that she looks like Lil Wayne, which, by the way, she doesn't, which is like just completely cruel. And her lack of class after that race, it is what it is. All right? Far too many peeps falsely demonize weed whenever they can. I mean, weed does nothing, bro. Weed's probably one of the best drugs on the planet. It has so many medicinal purposes and it helps so many people in so many ways, right? It's the silliest thing in the world that we've demonized weed and the fact that it's been illegal for all these years. It's just stupid. And it took us a couple of centuries to catch up to actually say, this thing isn't that bad. There's nothing bad here. Those sleeping pills you're taking, they're worse. That alcohol you're drinking, way worse. That prescription medicine that you're hooked on, 1,000 times worse. It's like NFL players. Hey, here's all these drugs for your pain. Or how about a joint? Like Ricky Williams is the only one that actually was doing the right thing. Like, hell no, I'm not taking all that crap. I'm going to smoke a blunt, bro. And I'll feel all right at least. Smart. Big O, is the Ethereum you're talking about ETH USD? Yes. Ethereum, yes. 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 Don't go Ethereum Classic. All right? It's Ethereum. You'll see the logo next to it, my man. Here, if you don't see this, then it's not Ethereum. Let me see here. Let me pull up the logo for you. And that way, at least you know what the logo looks like. And as long as it has this logo, you are good, my friend. That logo there. Okay? As long as you have that logo, you are kosher. All right? That's what you got to find. There we go. There you go. Ethereum. All right? So it's got to say that. Says that, you're good. Not Ethereum Classic. Just make sure. All right. Let's see. Like I said, let's wait for her to do her time again, and I'll leave it at that. Do her time again? I don't know. There's no part of me that's going to be rooting for her the way she treated another woman who is working just as hard as her for her own dreams, and you're going to be bringing her down. Now, some important shit really went down in England. I don't know if you guys know this, but in Britain, all milkshakes were taken off the menu at McDonald's. They have a shortage of supply, so no more milkshakes in Britain. Now, is it that they don't want any more milkshakes, or these people stop cleaning the machines and they're too lazy, or they're constantly broken? What is it? Is it just a cheap excuse by McDonald's? So, Martin, if you're out there listening to us, Martin, if you're still watching the show, when you go to McDonald's, dude, you're not going to get a shake anymore there in London. So, sorry about that. And those of you that are single and, you're a little older, you're around my age, I just want to remind you that Sonia Curry is now available and on the market. Yes, Steph Curry's mom is divorcing Del Curry. All right? And she's a 55-year-old smoke show. 55. And she looks great. Nothing wrong with 55. When you look like that, nothing wrong with 55. You look at J-Lo in her early 50s. You look at J-Lo and, she's going to look good for easily another 10 years, the way she takes care of herself. So Sonia Curry is out. I don't know why they didn't talk about that, but sucks, right? I don't want to make total light of it because I don't wish divorce on anybody. Now, if you're not happy with somebody, then yeah, you got to get the hell out. You got no choice. Doesn't matter who you are. You know what I'm saying? So obviously there is some kind of unhappiness between the Currys, and it sucks. And because, it looked like pretty good family overall, right? I mean, it doesn't mean that they're bad family. They're still a good family, but like intact, like you thought everybody would stay together. Like Steph and his wife, Aisha, I think is her name, something like that. They look like they're absolutely in love and very supportive of each other. And you kind of got the same thing with Del and Sonia. And now they're broken up. Sonia will have a line coming out of, like out of everywhere, thousands deep, lining up going, hey, would you like to go out? She's a good-looking woman. And by the way, kudos to Carson Wentz. Dude's, listen, I get it. He's probably lost his mojo. He's been a sack of injuries. He's become a turnover machine, all of that. The dude donated $250,000 to the Haitian Earthquake Relief Fund, and that $250K of his own money. He's stepping up to help Haiti after the deadly earthquake that killed over 2,100 people. He's donating $250,000 to help those affected by the tragedy. The Colts quarterback on Sunday on a video, and his wife Madison and his AO1 Foundation and Haiti's Mission of Hope are teaming up to help victims of the August 14th earthquake. He said currently there's great need for medical supplies, medication, food, clean water, and shelter. To meet this need, my wife and I, as well as the AO1 Foundation, are proud to announce that we'll once again be partnering with the Mission of Hope by donating $250,000 towards the relief efforts in Haiti. It's pretty awesome, dude. It's pretty awesome. Those are the kind of things that when you see somebody do it, and Carson Wentz is going through some personal hell professionally, is what I'm saying, with this guy was a baller, and he goes from baller to a guy you can't trust anymore. You know what I mean? And then all the injuries. It's one injury after another after another. He just had a foot injury that showed up from, I think it was his high school playing days or something like that. It's crazy. He's a a broken bone that finally got in the way in his foot. Nuts. But this is the opposite of Sha'Carri Richardson. Sha'Carri Richardson acts like a total horse's ass, right? And that just turns me off. This guy, who I think his career is kind of done already because his confidence is so shot. Man, I hope he finds his confidence, because things like that, that's a good human being, bro. Helping other people out. And that's what Sha'Carri should have done in that moment. That moment, you elevate the whole sport and you congratulate the young lady that won. And you show the kind of class that you did before when you got suspended. Shame, man. Absolute shame. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up on the show. We're going to thank Ira Winderman. We'll thank Alex Winley and Manny Navarro. Remember, you can check it out if you missed any of that. You can rewind, go to our podcast, subscribe to Big O Radio Show. As always, on behalf of Sean Stanley and Bill Preston, two guys are working, also helping this show grow and helping all of us take that next step forward. Plus, I love all of you out there, everybody that tuned in, everybody that sent in whatever it was, a text, email, tweet, a support on Cash App or Venmo, you name it. I appreciate it. Hitting that like button. Thank you for smashing the hell out of that like button. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. You all have a great one. There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show.